All right, this update is brought to you by Project Clean Water. Padres' first half is now officially over. They lost 6 of 7 at home to finish up the first half 50-49. Next up is the All-Star break, with tonight as the Home Run Derby. Tomorrow will be the All-Star game. Well, Jerkson Profar will be starting in left field for the National League. Corbin Burns today was announced as the American League All-Star starter tomorrow night, going up against Paul Skeens for the National League. And Team USA this morning beat Team Australia barely. They almost blew a 20-point lead. They won 98-92. Want to keep our waterways clean and beautiful? Harsh chemicals from car washing can flow into storm drains, harming our waterways. Choose eco-friendly car washes that properly dispose of the water from studs to shores. Wash your car wisely. Visit projectcleanwater.org for details and tips how to make a difference.
Jon and Jim.
Limping into the All-Star break after dropping 2 of 3 to the Braves.
What has to happen in the second half?
And does it involve a move at the trading deadline from A.J. Preller? Plus, we inch closer to football season as camps open this week. Now, it's time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 1, Jon and Jim back in studio for the first time since last Tuesday. Getting you ready for a home run derby and an all-star game in the Padres' second half after the Padres limped to the first half finish line. We're going to hear from Manny Machado, Jim, coming up in a moment. I guess I would start by saying this. We'll hear from Manny, but do you agree with him when he says it was a good first half? 877-767-4760. Again, 877-767-4760. Or hit us up on the talkback mic. Just open the free iHeartRadio app. Listen to San Diego Sports 760. Tap that little red microphone icon next to the play button to leave a 30-second talkback. We'll hear from Manny yesterday. Padres 1-6, Jim, in their last 7 games after a 12-3 stretch, kind of back where they started, 50-49, 1 game over 500 at the All-Star break.
It was a great first half, John.
Amazing
First half. They played some great baseball. They had some nice moments.
That is true.
Had some walk-offs.
Also true.
They had some players that have outperformed.
Also true.
But they're 50-49, and they just lost 6 of 7 to end up the first half. Yeah, I don't know what the leadership of this team is thinking, but that was just a blah first half, like you said last night.
That was my word.
I know.
With Darnay on Sports Wrap. If you missed Sports Wrap last night with me and Jim, well, you missed it.
What are you doing?
I mean, maybe if you DVR'd it, you could watch it back, but it was fun to be with Darnay yesterday. Your word for the first half was apropos. It was roller coaster.
Right.
Which is fitting, considering all the conversation about roller coaster with Mike Schild.
Yeah. Don't say that roller coaster.
Honestly, mine was blah, not because the team played blah, but because of the way the first half ended. I actually think they've been a lot more entertaining than they were a year ago, but it's all about results. And 50-49, and you said this last night in the wrap-up show, Schild has said a lot recently, if the season ended today, we'd be in the postseason. Well, to use that line right now, if the season ended today, they wouldn't. They're a game out of a postseason spot. So I don't know how you could say it was good. And by the way, Schild went harder than Manny on the first half, saying it was very, very good. Let's hear from Manny Machado and react. We'd love to hear from you, 877-767-4760. By the way, we have great giveaways today, including Bob Dylan tickets to give away. You can hit us up on the talkback mic as well. But let's hear from Manny Machado yesterday after the Padres lose again to the Braves.
I think we're in a good position. You know, we put ourselves in a great position to go out there and compete the second half and leave it all out there.
How important will these 2 days be? Guys like yourself, Luis, rest up, knowing what you're going through, and for that second half push.
Yeah, I mean, the break is always great. You take a couple of days off, kind of hit the refresh button, and come back. Ready for the second half. So I know a lot of people in here, especially our team. I mean, all around the league, everyone's banged up, but for ourselves to kind of regroup, kind of hit that reset button, it's going to kind of feel good for us, and just kind of get our mindset ready for that second half.
Does it feel like you guys have played more games than anybody else?
I mean, not really. I mean, I think at this point it just is what it is. It's a lot of baseball, and we're just glad we made it to the second half, to the first half. Healthy and good. A couple injuries here and there, but overall, We played some really good baseball in that first half. There's a lot to learn from it and obviously grow. So, we're going to continue that in the second half and, put ourselves in a better position.
A lot of really good baseball. Also, like some rough patches, losing streaks in this last 6 or 7. I know you faced some good pitchers in this homestand, but how do you assess losing 6 of the last 7?
I mean, we're not even thinking about it. I think, overall we had a good first half. We played a lot of good baseball and, we did a lot of great things. We did a lot of bad things as well, but we learned from those and, we turned them around pretty quickly as a team. So, as a group, I think that's all we could ask for is how we bounce back from those losses, how we bounce back from those errors or mental errors and, move forward with how can we get better. And, this group has been great at it all year.
30 seconds sellout of the season today at Petco Park. How do you feel about how you guys have played at home and the support you received from fans?
I mean, just playing at home is awesome. I think we've gotten a great support, with our fans. They've come out here and, given us the energy and given us everything that we needed to go out there and perform every single night. So it's been fun and, hopefully it continues and, we continue to play the baseball we've been playing, for the second half. Gonna enjoy this break and kind of take that break off and, come back in the second half, ready to play baseball and win some games. I think, overall, I think this group wants to win. We have our goal, which is to make it to the postseason and make it deep into the postseason and bring a championship to the city. And that's our goal. And we're going to continue to do that. So, our focus in the second half is going to be that.
I have a question.
Everything's great.
Real quick.
Yeah. What do you got?
Would you say are goals different than expectations?
Yes.
So when you say like a goal
Semantics, maybe.
Yeah. Say, hey, our goal is to make the postseason, but then you get upset about expectations being asked of you in the club. I don't know. That's just kind of
the expectation thing is stupid. It's
Right.
not even worth discussing because obviously it makes no sense. Every athlete in the history of professional sports has been asked about expectations, including Manny Machado before and now and into the future. He takes exception with things in random ways.
I know.
He won't take exception with that in the future, and then he will again at another point. You know what I mean? He takes exception with everything.
Well, you know what I take exception with is how this team has played. This whole season has been up and down and good and bad and great and really bad. And it's I'm not saying that I expected them to be like 15 games over 500 at the break, but at the same time, you are in a position where you have to make the postseason this year. And when I hear things like, oh, we played great, everything's fine, you just lost 6 of 7, how do you feel about that? Nah, it's whatever. Like, is there not any urgency with this club ever? It's not maybe not from like the others, but from your leaders of your club, Manny Machado, Mike Schilt. I never hear anything regarding any type of urgency with how they played.
Two different things. What they're saying, I agree with you on. The way they're playing, I disagree. Like, I don't take exception with the way they're playing. This is who we thought they were. They actually, if you've watched all 99 games, which we have, are better off than they should be based on their body of work. They've had a propensity for comebacks that they didn't have a year ago. They could easily be under 500 right now. Their play has been reasonable. They've had injuries. They cut payroll. They should be competing for a playoff spot, and they are competing for a playoff spot. What I take exception with is what Manny Machado tells the media about the first half. Yeah, we're in a good spot. We feel really good about it. What Mike Schilt says, we feel really, really good about where we are. I would rather just be honest about the situation, which Jerks and Profar, by the way, was. So let's hear from Jerks and Profar yesterday. We've heard all kinds of different messaging out of this clubhouse all year long. The way they've played, we'll get into it. They have work. They're without Fernando Tatis Jr. A trade deadline's coming up. Did we expect them to be a lot better than this year? If we're being honest with each other, we can get into that. But let's hear from Jerks and Profar yesterday.
Like you said, a lot of ups and downs. We just deal with some injuries, but every team deal with those. We just need to find a way to come in the second half, and play consistent good baseball.
How do you find a way to get more of those ups in the second half?
Just attitude, just come in and give it our all, as a team.
This homestand, do you chalk it up to really good pitchers that you faced, or were there some different at bats, like 6 of the last 7?
Bad. we just play bad. We face some good pitching, but that's not a excuse for a team that want to go to the playoffs and win it all. In the playoffs, you're gonna face good pitching, so we need to find a way to be better.
Injuries are a big part of some of the issues you guys have had, but do you feel this team has played close to its expectations with the players that you do have on this roster at this point?
Yeah, so we play some really good baseball, and then we didn't hit, we didn't pitch, but like I said, we need to come back and get some of the guys back healthy and play good baseball, just plain and simple, play good baseball,
Other than getting those guys healthy, do you know how you guys might get to where you're playing that better baseball consistently, just for weeks at a time, instead of maybe just having the ups and downs?
I don't know how to explain that, man. It's just happening. I'm coming in here and I'm giving 100% every single day. Sometimes I'm not gonna get hits. That's baseball. But like I said, we just need to find a way to get everybody to play good baseball.
I love that
do too.
Yeah, that's spot on. That's a leader taking accountability. He is a leader. He's been among the better players on this team, if not the best player on this team.
Well, they needed Jurickson Profar in that clubhouse. Maybe not the year expecting him to produce offensively, which he has this year, but they needed him in that clubhouse because they were void of a leadership, and they were void of somebody in there that is a guy that people look towards when it comes to leadership qualities. And I think Jurickson Profar exemplifies that. And you hear him just be truthful and honest. And same thing with Xander Bogaerts. I think Xander Bogaerts is always truthful and honest, and is not going to sugarcoat thing or BS you and go attack you for asking a simple question. Like Jurickson Profar is a guy that this clubhouse needed desperately. And he's right there. Like they didn't play good baseball to end the first half. It's not good. And if you remember the quote he said after their 12-3 stretch, after their 15 games, he goes, look, if we don't play to this level, I'll be mad at everybody. Like I'll be just pissed off. So I'm assuming he ended the break just really mad at everybody because they lost 6 of 7 and are now only one game over 500.
Well, I would say this about Jurickson Profar as well, and Padres fans who have seen this unbelievable season from Profar and rewarded by appearing in the All-Star game tomorrow, and we'll hear from Jurickson Profar actually in Arlington coming up later this hour. But if you expect Profar to carry this team for the final 63 games,
I don't know about that.
Be prepared to potentially be disappointed, and here's why. He's cooled off. Since June 1st, that's now 6+ weeks. His OPS on baseball slugging is under 800, which is a good player. He's been in the high 700s over that stretch, but that 950 player that he was from the start of the season through June 30th, that's not the player he's been. Now, can he get it back? Maybe, but that was an unbelievable stretch. This is even a good stretch by his career standards. I'm just saying that, and they're saying it. You heard it from Manny, you heard it from Profar, and you heard it from Schild. What they're saying, nobody's going to want to hear, specifically Jim, but they're saying, we're down. We don't have Fernando Tatis Jr. We didn't have Xander Bogaerts. We don't have Joe Musgrove or Yu Darvish. So treading water, nobody likes to hear it, is kind of part of the story. They went 12-3 kind of miraculously without all these pieces. And you're like, oh my gosh, they're going to do this all year. No, reality has set in. They went 1-6. Now, what do they do into the second half? There's no timetable on these guys. Musgrove, Darvish, Toddy, there's no timetable. Trade deadline's coming up. To your point in general, I think organizationally, there needs to be a sense of urgency with where they're trying to get. Game in and game out, we'll see based on the state of the roster. But organizationally, you got to be thinking about improving this roster by July 30th to put this team in position to hopefully get to the postseason. It's going to be a complete and utter dogfight, would be my guess, with 63 games to be played to get in.
Yep. And guess what? Everybody at the deadline essentially will be looking for exactly what you're looking for, which is pitching. You don't have what you used to have in your minor league system to trade top level prospects that you're okay with because you might have guys behind them,
Right.
to go out and get a Garrett Crochet. I would be flat out shocked if they traded for Garrett Crochet. We'll talk about him at the bottom of the hour. There's reports about him and the Padres. So we'll tell you all the latest there. But like, I don't know who they can get. I have ideas of who I think they could get, but it's going to be very difficult, I think, for AJ Preller to pull off like 3 players that all are supposed to come in here and contribute right away.
I agree with that.
Like that to me sounds very tough. 1, I could see it for sure, but 3, because you say they need at least 2 starting pitchers, and they need another back end bullpen guy at least. That's a lot for an organization that doesn't have much to trade away.
And here's the other thing. We talked about this last night as well, like recapping the first half. What would you prefer? He makes sizable wholesale moves and hopefully that works, or you just get Joe Musgrove making 10 starts in the second half. I don't know if it's realistic or not. Fernando Tatis Jr. appearing in 45 games in the second half. I don't know if it's realistic or not. You ask a player to join a new organization, to your point, you can get a player that can contribute. Absolutely. There have been a lot of great trade deadline acquisitions across baseball history. And even the Padres have had some that have worked out, but they've had a number that haven't. And by the time we get to the trade deadline, remember, they have 63 games left. There's 11 more games before the deadline. They could make a move before then, but we're talking about 50 games. What type of impact is one individual player making, specifically a starting pitcher, over 50 games? Are you talking about the difference between 1 more win or 1 more loss, 2 more wins or 2 more losses? As in, you're not going to get a drastic change based on the moves you make at the deadline, would be my guess, and probably most people would agree with that. You're not going to, all of a sudden, you were going to go 25-25 in the last 50 games. Now you go 31-19. I don't think that's very realistic.
Here's the most simple equation for this team's either success or failure this year.
Outscore opponents?
Well, that too, John. Usually have to score more points than the other team.
Okay, I like this. Where are you going with this? Do you have another equation that works?
I do.
Okay.
And it's no more apparent than if you just look at the last, what is it? 12, 15, 22 games, right?
That's 22. So the 12-3 and then the 1-6?
Correct.
Which means they are 13 and where are we? Now I'm confused.
Okay,
how many
so
games? 23 you said?
22, because 15-7, that's 20.
Look at you. You're right. So the record over those 22 is 13-9.
13-9.
Yep.
When they went 12-3, guess what Manny Machado did?
Hit really well, like 400 well.
He hit over 370.
Okay.
He had 6 home runs. He had 16 RBIs. You know what Manny Machado did in their last 1-6 stretch here?
I'm going to say hit 615 with 7 home runs and 29 RBIs.
No, he hit 1 home run, 3 RBIs, and he hit low 200s.
What? So when the team hasn't played well, he hasn't been as good?
Isn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh. Do you have AJ's you actually do text it.
I do, yeah.
If Manny plays better, the team likely plays better.
Hey, AJ, I figured it out. Manny
I crushed the numbers.
I've done all the research here. I've looked at all the stats.
It's incredible.
If Manny plays well, the team plays well. And it's pretty simple. Say what you want about what he says off the field. I'm not a fan of it a lot of times. I kind of just try to white noise it because I just sometimes I just can't stand when he speaks off the field in the clubhouse. It's like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
But as a player on the field, he's amazing when he is playing really, really well.
Absolutely.
And he is one of the best players in the game. That 15-game stretch, he was one of the best players in baseball.
Definitely.
And it was amazing to watch. When he struggles, it just feels like this team can't figure it out. After he went 4 for 5 that Friday night, the walk-off home run against Arizona, for whatever reason, the team's offense just click off. Like the faucet just got turned off. And I don't think it's any coincidence that as the faucet turns off, Manny Machado also goes ice cold. Now, it's not just him. You have Jerkson Profar, who you just talked about offensively.
Luis
Arraez, Jackson Merrill. I mean, everybody on this team after Friday night just said, all right, we're done. We're done. And the results were a 1-6 finish to the first half.
Well, here's what I would say to that point. And you're right. There are correlations there. There's no question about it. What I would say is that I lost my train of thought on it. because I had a great point to
Oh,
make.
man.
I had an amazing point.
I hate
It was
those.
about something that I said earlier. Oh, yeah. If you're counting on Profar to lead you to the promised land in the second half, I have news for you.
Yeah, good luck.
But I hate to say this about Manny, but you say, hold on, Manny's a future Hall of Famer, might have 3,000 hits, 500 home runs in his career. He's only 32. He's playing better baseball. Well, he can lead us to the postseason, right? Well, yeah, but let's consider the body of work. 99 games. He's had 15 where he's been completely scorching.
Mhm.
And there's other games in there he's had moments, make no mistake. But the lion's share of those 99, he's had average moments. He's been a below average player. So I'm not saying he needs to be elite for 63, but is he capable of being elite for like half of the upcoming 63 games? Like, can he play for 1 month like he did for those 2 weeks? Because if he doesn't, and again, we've only seen it for 15 of the 99 games, by and large, then are you going to get to where you need to get? Like you said, with this correlation, I mean, are we putting our eggs in that? Well, Manny will just lead them there. But Manny has only performed at this level briefly this year. Is he all of a sudden going to be that 15-game stretch guy in the second half of the year? I hope so, but what if he isn't?
Then they got big problems because you can't really count on Tatis. I know everybody's saying, oh, yeah, when Joe Musgrove gets back, guys remember
you can't count on it.
When he was pitching, he was one of the worst pitchers in baseball.
6 ERA, right?
So being excited for one of the worst pitchers in baseball to come back off of an injury that he's had for the last year plus to his throwing arm, I think is fool's gold, and I think it's wishful thinking. They need more than that. Darvish, he is going through personal things. We don't even know if he's going to return this season. And the only guy here right now is Manny Machado.
Mm-hmm.
So can't worry about
Tati.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't know.
Don't know about Tatis. Bogarts, to me, he's had a nice couple games
Good
here,
couple games.
but like, sorry, I just need more.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not putting the blame on him, the last two
not at all.
losses at all by him. He actually played really well, but I mean, if you're hitting cleanup and in the 5-hole, you can't just hit singles all day long. You gotta show me some pop, some power, some gap to gaps. Like, I gotta need more than that. This team, we know in baseball, usually teams they win 70 games, they lose 70 games, is what you do in the other 22 that matters the most. I mean, in reality, that's what this team is going to do this year, right? They're going to win 70 and they're going to lose 70. What are they going to do in that 22-game stretch? Are they going to go 15-7 like we just talked about, where they just had a 22-game stretch where they went 15-7 and they can win 85 games? Or are they in that 22-game stretch going to go like 12-10 and win 82? Like that's,
or as I like to say, they're
baseball.
going 80-80. It's what they do in the other two games that's going to determine whether they make the postseason or not.
Right.
All right. The Padres have made an offer for White Sox starter Garrett Crochet. The latest on that, plus Jerks and Profar from Arlington. You'll hear from on the other side. Plus, we'll say about great giveaways, including Bob Dylan tickets. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, we're going to hear from Jurickson Profar on the other side from Arlington, getting ready for the All-Star game. Plus, the Padres have made an offer for Garrett Crochet, the latest.
All right, this update is brought to you by Project Clean Water. Padres finish up their first half by losing 6 of their last 7 home games to finish up 50-49 at the break. Next up is the All-Star game tomorrow night in Arlington, Texas. Tonight is the Home Run Derby. Jurickson Profar will be watching tonight, and he'll be starting tomorrow for the National League in left field. Corbin Burns today was announced as the American League All-Star starter tomorrow night. The MLB draft, John, yesterday, Padres with the 25th pick in the draft selected pitcher Cash Mayfield from Elk City High School, Oklahoma. And Team USA beat Team Australia today in a USA showcase 98-92 after almost blowing a 20-point lead this morning. Want to keep our waterways clean and beautiful? Harsh chemicals from car washing can flow into storm drains, harming our waterways. Choose eco-friendly car washes that properly dispose of the water from studs to shores. Wash your car wisely. Visit projectcleanwater.org for details and tips how to make a difference.
All right, a really good giveaway, one of our better giveaways in a while. A pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival next hour. This is at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, July 29th. Coming up, Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp. That is a trio. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. We also have, this is for my wife, Niall Horn. You know Niall Horn? One Direction. I think I'm right. And she's obsessed with this dude.
Okay.
Text Aaron. Just take Niall Horn and see what she says back. Seriously. This is how you spell it. Weird. I'm serious.
All right.
Just text her Niall Horn and see what she says back. I'm dead serious.
All right.
Okay. She's like, who? I'm like, no, I'm serious. This guy's a big deal. We have Niall Horn tickets on sale as well. But Chris is obsessed with this guy. So we'll give those away. Was that Harry Styles?
One Direction.
Yes. No, I think Harry Styles obviously like bigger than that.
Well, obviously, because I know that.
I think that's who it is. When I'm looking. Yeah. Okay. We have the latest here on Garrett Crochet. This was reported this weekend. The Padres have already made an offer for Crochet, who's become the White Sox ace and has already thrown a career high in innings. The report is the White Sox quickly turned down the offer. Yeah. So the Padres have made a formal offer. The White Sox have said thanks, but no thanks, which leads us where? To the fact that they didn't include either of their top 2 prospects in this initial deal.
Yeah, that would lead. No Leo DeVries or Ethan Salas. Yeah, no thanks.
If you're the White Sox.
Yes, yeah. you got nothing we want. Like your pitchers, no.
your pitching prospects,
right.
No.
Like, no, we want Leo DeVries or Ethan Salas. The conversation is, I feel like, as old as time around here. Like, what do? I feel like we have this all the time, the deadline. Do you trade your top prospects to try to win now?
Of course.
Or do you keep them for the future? You can look at it on both ways. You could say, glad you didn't trade Jackson Merrill when you had an opportunity maybe to trade Jackson Merrill as recently as this past offseason, or else you wouldn't have an all-star center fielder and somebody who was a million times better than Trent Grisham and a guy who, could potentially be a cornerstone for your team for many, many years to come.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other side of the coin is like, well, they kind of have to win now in this window, or in 3 years, who the hell knows what this team looks like as far as general manager goes, as far as a manager goes. And all of your star players, well, most are all aging, underperforming, or getting out of their prime. We don't know how many years Yu Darvish has left in him. Joe Musgrove, after 3 years, is gone. Manny Machado, if he's on his decline, it could get ugly. Same thing with Xander Bogaerts, and Fernando Tatis Jr. never can stay healthy. So, like, where do you side with? Do we just say screw it and try to go all in right now to maximize what we have? Because in 2 or 3 years, we have no clue. And by the way, Ethan Salas in 2-3 years, same thing with Leo DeVries. We don't even know when they're going to make an impact with this roster. Could be 4, 5, like 3, like it could be years down the road. So what do? Do you stand pat with not trading away your top prospects and try to get creative other ways and, building around the edges and getting guys that are fringe guys that hopefully can help? Or do you say, screw it, we need guys that make a major impact right now? Ethan Salas is not going to help this team anytime soon. Same thing with Leo DeVries. Let's go get Garrett Crochet. What do you do?
If I'm Eric Katsenda and I'm representing ownership and I'm the chairperson and I got a general manager who's in his 10th season that is fighting tooth and nail to get this team into the postseason, there's no scenario on earth where I allow him to move either Ethan Salas or Leo DeVries. 0, zip, zilch. Because Eric Grubner is on the record saying that our payroll flexibility is now limited. Our TV revenue we were getting a year ago of $60 million per year, we've been cut off at the knees there. I'm not chasing anything down. All they do is chase here. Chased it down every single year. What's it gotten them? They had a run in 2022. You got to sustain something here, whether it's sexy or not. They went out and got Luis Arias, they're 15-49. They went out and got Dylan Cease, they're 15-49. They went out and got Juan Soto, they're 82-80. Stop chasing. Start developing the next Jackson Merrill, because your point is valid on all those veterans. But guess what? Who cares? I can build around Merrill and Tatis and Salas and DeVries in an ideal world at some point in the future if those players pan out. But if I'm Eric Katsenda, there is no scenario where I'm giving AJ Preller just green lights on my premier players, consider some of the best prospects in the sport. There is no guarantee there. I understand it. But also, you have to have some payroll certainty. And when Salas and DeVries make it, they're not making $22 million a year like some of the players you're trying to acquire potentially at the trade deadline. Answer for me is easy. It's a mid-national league. Stay the course. You either get in and Preller keeps his job, or you don't, and you got changes.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not in charge, because I would be very, very tempted to just like for the here and now, because that's what is most important, truthfully. We've said it every single year at the deadline. Worry about next year when next year comes. We'll worry about 2 years down the road when 2 years comes. I don't think anybody at the time, even to this day, I am fully okay with trading for Juan Soto. I know you lost potentially 2-3 all-stars in the deal with CJ Abrams, who's an all-star this year. We don't know about James Wood and obviously Mackenzie Gore, Robert Hassel, Ariarte. Like, those guys could be all-stars at some point, but I still would have done that in a second. Down the road, 2 years. Yeah. Has it kind of hurt the team? Kind of. You're missing out on some pieces that could be maybe really helping this club right now. But we still would have done the trade.
Yep, agreed.
So what's different now?
What's different now is there isn't Juan Soto.
Good point.
That's the difference. I mean, to your point, and I'm all for Garrett Crochet specifically. Young, controllable, doesn't make a lot of money.
Right.
That you have for multiple years.
How many years? It's
2.
2? Okay.
2 after
Beyond
this.
Yeah.
Now, the issue is when you get him this year, you're going to put him in your bullpen because of all his innings. So he's not a perfect fit for 24, but he's a perfect fit for 25 and 26. He's not impacting a team with the same ability that Juan Soto potentially did when you acquired him. You thought Juan Soto would completely change everything and put you in the World Series. He got you close, not solely because of the way he played, but that's what has changed for me. It's like there is no Juan Soto. You are on the outside looking at a postseason spot. The team in 2022 that traded for Soto was 14 games over 500.
Yeah, they were fully invested.
They were in the postseason. They were likely going to the postseason at that time.
Yeah. And also, let's be real here. They did kind of back their way into that 2022
89
postseason.
wins, I don't think is backing their way in.
Well, they didn't.
They made it by 4 or 5 games.
Right.
In the end.
They kind of just. What I mean is they weren't playing great baseball leading into the postseason. Thankfully, they turned it around quickly.
Yeah.
But it's a question that this organization's probably discussing during this All-Star break. Like, what do we do? Do we let Preller do, crazy moves, or do we have to, pull him in because we probably know he's not going to be here like for much longer, and we don't want him effing things up by ruining our future.
So I just don't see it. And by the way, I don't think I want to see it. Like, I'm making the prudent decision here. You're going to trade away Ethan Salas. What if you do that and miss the postseason?
Well, then, Preller's.
You can miss the postseason without trading him away.
Do you honestly think, barring like a World Series run or even an NLCS run, Preller's here for the next 5 years?
Well, I can't. That's way too down the road.
Or
how can I do 5 years?
How about this? Finishes out his contract here.
If they make the postseason, 100% definitively yes.
Even if they miss the postseason next year?
No. Oh, if they make the postseason this year?
Like, is he
okay? He makes it this, misses next. Does he get 2026?
Right.
I haven't thought that long and hard on it. My guess would be yes.
I'm trying to say is we all agree Preller's not going to be here for like another decade. I think that's probably pretty like apparent, just because like whatever he's done and he's done a lot, it's just not working to the level of what they thought it was going to work at. Like trading.
But he's like a cat.
I know. He's
2021, people thought he was gone. In 2022, they're in the NLCS.
Well,
and there's an extension. And then 2023, people think he's gone. And then in 2024, what if they make the postseason?
Well, unfortunately, Peter Seidler's not here anymore with us. That's unfortunate for a lot of reasons. But going into the future, your, time as GM is in the hands of Eric Grupner and Eric Casenda. And by the way, I don't think those two guys and all three of them, I don't know if they all get along. So
yeah, but it's mute. All of it is mute. Make the postseason this year, he's back. Miss the postseason this year, he's gone. Who disagrees? 70470 start it with team, or 877-767-4760. We can react to that on the other side. Plus, is that good? The best and worst of the sports weekend. We will hear from Jerks and Profar in Arlington at the All-Star game, back, quote-unquote, home, the team that he came up as a member of, the Texas Rangers. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, is that good? The best and worst of the sports weekend on the other side. Coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, your chance to win tickets to see Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp. I keep up with San Diego Sports 760 anytime, anywhere, whether you're stepping out of the car or settling in at home. Just ask your Google or Alexa smart speaker to play AM 760 or stream it live through the iHeartRadio app. It's never been easier to stay connected with your favorite shows like this one. San Diego Sports 760 goes where you go. I say they miss the postseason, wholesale change. They make the postseason, no change. I think you agree, at least short term. 2025, they make the postseason. AJ Preller stays, right?
This year, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They're gonna. I mean, they'll try their hardest to spin it as positively as possible if they don't make the postseason, but they're not going to fool us.
Yeah, exactly. I think if they miss it, there's no spinning. If they make it, they made it.
You sure there's no spinning?
If they miss it, well, organization, they have to spin it. I mean, their job is to make money. I mean, they're not going to be like, we're the biggest embarrassment in sports. Don't support us.
Well,
but they'll make a change.
Do you think any fan would buy it though?
There's nothing to buy because you and I agree. They're just going to change general managers. Like,
oh no,
what happens in sports?
I meant if they don't.
Oh, if they try to keep them,
yeah.
I think 90% of people would not be on board.
This is a crucial season. That again, when I hear Manny speak and I hear Schulte speak,
yeah,
maybe the behind closed doors they understand like the urgency of this year and how crucial it is. But like again, I don't think Manny does care because he's got his money.
He's not going
anywhere. Schulte is just kind of, I think, like deer in the headlights sometimes with things, and he's just kind of not aware of like actual like truth. He's living in fantasy land at times. But at some point, this team and franchise is going to have to pay the piper and answer for potentially again not making the postseason. And it's crucial that they absolutely make the postseason so they don't have to face those questions and answers.
I think they realize it. I mean, Kutsenda from day one in February saying everyone's accountable for our success and failure. And then Schilt even yesterday saying, I feel like we're in a good position to get where we need to go or want to go, which is the postseason. I think they do recognize it despite what they're saying. All right, let's go to the phones then. Let's get to Is That Good? 877-767-4760. Dave, you're back on with Jon and Jim. Thanks for calling in, man.
Well, hello, gentlemen, and thanks for having me back. And, John, before we get into the nuts and bolts of the Padres, one thing, have fun with the Aztecs this year. I'm very, very happy for you and can't wait to hear you do your thing. Just relax, enjoy it, let it rock and roll, and God bless you for that.
I appreciate that, Dave. Thank you.
Okay, so getting back to the Padres, a year ago at this time, gentlemen, on this show, and correctly so, you were both pointing out what a disappointment Juan Soto was. And to that date, He was basically sitting at the plate, taking a lot of walks. His defense was terrible, to below average. So when you talk about revisiting, should we have made that trade again, considering what we gave up and what we got back in performance and eventual ending? We didn't get the world championship. We didn't get a division championship. We got a couple of games that we won in the postseason. That's it. So now it comes down to is I think Kevin Acee correctly pointed out today, they've got nothing left to trade. So you don't have to worry about Ethan Salas or the other kid. Collectively, there's nothing there. You've got a hamster wheel that AJ has been running on. It still comes down to the big 5+1. So, Jim, here's the homework assignment. When you get a chance, because I know you're good at this. You're good at this. Go back, add up collectively all of the games that the big 5+1 have missed since they've been here. Collectively add up their performances or lack thereof since they've been here. And it tells you the tail of the tape right here, where this franchise is headed. I'll take the Washington Nationals future right now over the Padres any day of the week.
But that's not, thank you, Dave. But that's not the point. It's would you have made the trade in real time? Yeah. Once you have all the information, it's like saying, why did Mahomes or why did Russell Wilson throw the ball at the goal line? Well, yeah, it was intercepted. So everyone would say you don't throw the ball, but you know what happens.
Also, let me remind you, at this time last year, Juan Soto was the best offensive player on the team, and he was an all-star.
But they were bad. I mean, they were bad.
I'm just saying, I'm not putting it on Juan Soto. I mean, there's other factors.
I mean, again,
like
was he
perfect?
Juan Soto said here in San Diego when he came to town with the Yankees during your wedding, I feel bad for Padres fans. They didn't see me at my best.
That's great. It was last year. Last year's last year. And this year, the problems are your stars aren't performing. Manny Machado has struggled, and your pitching staff is very, very thin. Your bullpen, besides the back end, has been up and down. You go through crazy cold stretches, followed by pretty good hot stretches, followed by cold stretches, and you can't sustain anything. And without that 12-3 stretch, you are screwed right now.
But they're not screwed.
I know they are.
And they're a game out of a playoff spot with 63 to play. They were 48-52 at the 100-game mark last year. They're 50-49.
Wait, what were they at the 199 game?
48-52.
Oh, okay. I think they said 42-58. I'm like, wait,
no
48-52. And they fell off a cliff.
And the National League was a touch better at this point than it is right now. Although
84 wins.
Although 84 wins is not even a guarantee right now, because some of these teams are playing better, like the Cardinals, like the Mets, like the Diamondbacks. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, like in a horse race, like down the stretch, the horses are running faster. Like for a while, they were jogging. Now some of these teams are actually playing good baseball.
There's a lot of differences from last year's team, but there's also a lot of similarities, like just from a overall record standpoint and expectations not being met, or whatever the expectations you had for this team. If your expectations was 83 wins, then guess what? You're probably pretty happy today.
Whose expectations were like 90 wins? Las Vegas, I think, said 83 wins.
Las Vegas said 83. I think there might have been like 82 and a half over under somewhere.
83 and a half. So like, that's my point. It's like, aren't they who prognosticators, Fangraphs, projection sites, Zips, aren't they who we were told they would be?
I think where people would get up, will like say they're not meeting expectations, or they're upset with where they're at, which is totally valid. I understand. Is they went 6 games over 500 with the remaining 7 games at home.
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking to yourself, holy crap, they're going to go in the break
9-up
with a really good record, especially with how they were playing. And then for whatever reason, the entire team just turned off the light switch, and we're now at the break with the team only 1 game over.
Very bad week. Awful week. I mean, they're under 500 at home. And they're second in baseball, I think, in average attendance, and they're under 500 at 26-28 at home. All right, we'll get to the wrap on the other side to kick off hour number 2. Also in the 4 o'clock hour, your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival. This is at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater coming up on July 29th. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp, and more. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. We'll hear from Jurkson Profar at the All-Star Game. Plus the wrap is next on Jon and Jim.
All right, this update's brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Padres finish up their first half with losing 6 of their last 7 home games. They're 50-49 at the break. Next up tonight, the Home Run Derby in Texas, followed by the All-Star Game tomorrow. Jurickson Profar will be the starter for the National League in left field. And Corbin Burns was announced today as the American League All-Star Game starter tomorrow night, as Paul Skeens is the National League All-Star starter. And Team USA, they beat Team Australia this morning, 98-92, after almost blowing a 20-point lead. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com. That's progressive.com.
Jon and Jim.
Limping into the All-Star break after dropping 2 of 3 to the Braves.
What has to happen in the second half?
And does it involve a move at the trading deadline from AJ Preller? Plus, we inch closer to football season as camps open this week. Now, it's time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego, Southern California, what's going on? Hour 2, Jon and Jim. This hour, someone is winning a pair of tickets to see Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp, July 29th. Have either of you seen any of those?
That's a negative.
I'm
John.
almost surprised Brent's going to say no right now. Not that you're a big concert guy.
I think I've seen Mellencamp.
Yeah, I can see
he
the way
might
you
have.
said.
He might have even still had the Cougar in his name at the time.
Okay.
but I think I might have been at like a festival where Mellencamp was. But definitely no to Willie Nelson, and definitely no to Dylan.
I saw the 3 of these guys on this tour like 15 years ago in minor league baseball.
Wow.
And
Minor league baseball.
And it was sold out. And it was a really cool show.
Wait, you were in minor league baseball?
And I worked in minor league baseball, so I got free tickets. And one of our listeners today is getting free tickets.
Wow.
And you don't even have to work in minor league baseball to get free tickets today.
That's amazing.
By the way, I texted Kevin Brown, our buddy. He's the voice of the Orioles.
Yeah.
Right. He's the guy that was suspended last year because he said something truthful on air during an open.
Right.
Say the Orioles have lost 9 straight series in Tampa. They're like, how dare you say that? He's like, because it's truthful.
Right.
It's on the front page of the game notes.
Factual.
And the director put it in the open.
Oh man.
Well, he's calling the Home Run Derby on ESPN2, the alternate StatCast telecast. So I texted him this morning. I'm like, yo, come on. You probably can't because the Derby's at 5 Pacific and our show starts at 3 Pacific, but we could tape if we needed to.
Mm-hmm.
But I was on the way to the gym. He's like, when can you tape? I just threw out time. I'm like, I don't know, 2 Central, noon Pacific. He's like, no, we're leaving it 2 Central. He's like, no, sorry. I'm like, well, anyway, Kevin's going to call it. We probably could have recorded it is the point, but I didn't want you to I went to the gym and I don't know if you were awake.
At 11?
No, I went to the gym at 9:40.
I was texting you at 8:45.
Correct. That's a good point. But here's the thing. I dropped off. So I'm texting. I drop off Jones, right? And then I text Kevin. I'm like, hey, can you join us? I know it's going to be a tight turnaround and you're calling this thing on television, but can you join us? He's like, well, I might be able to tape, but then I'm going to Orange Theory at 9:40.
Oh, so here's what happened. John chose
Well,
Orange
what do you want
Theory.
me to do? Not go to the gym and tape with Kevin Brown?
Correct.
It's probably smart, actually.
Yeah.
I could have just gone to Orange Theory later.
What's that, a smoothie place?
No, Orange Theory is
my God.
where I get all buff. For those of you watching on YouTube, you know, if you know, you know.
So
Do they have a guarantee?
Here's the thing. Once you schedule Orange Theory, you can't change the time.
Yes, you can.
No, not within 8 hours of the class or they bill you.
How much
So
is it?
it's like $15. You want me to take the
Okay.
$15 surcharge to record with Kevin?
Yeah.
Because it's not like there's 2 Padres in this thing. What, so we could break down Gunnar Henderson splits?
Well, here's the thing, though, John. Corbin Burns is the All-Star Game starter.
Not in the Home Run Derby.
So
He ain't calling the All-Star game.
So we can talk about the All-Star Game tomorrow.
Okay.
The Padres
They're
are
about to face the Orioles.
The Padres are going to play the Orioles here in a couple of weeks.
Well, we'll get them on.
I just hope that you're not doing Orange Theory when he has chances to record.
Okay, Mr.
What?
I don't
Say
even
it.
know. Mr. Yeah, there's a
Say
lot
it.
of things.
Say it. Mr. Lightsaber Boy.
No,
Mr.
that's not what I was going to say.
Mr. Do Nothing
I
Boy.
said, hey, look at this text. You know how I text. I'm like, hey, dude, I know it's tight. Can you come on? He goes, 0 chance. I go, that high? And then he's like, hey, here's when we leave. It'll be tough.
But
And then I told him he's out of my will. So I'm not sure if he's going to come on.
So you gave, oh, wow. Oh, you gave him a time and then he said
Yeah.
no, 0 chance. And then
I gave him a time, 2
Okay.
o'clock, noon Pacific or 3 p.m. Pacific.
Okay. So you didn't say could you do it any earlier, or he told you?
No, because I was going to Orange Theory.
All right. Well, everybody out there, you missed out on a great Kevin Brown
He
interview
is
that
great.
we would have had today,
but he's
except
gonna
John
be
decided
on.
to go to Orange Theory instead.
Correct. But I feel good.
That's great.
Actually, the workout was.
And we don't have Kevin Brown on, so I guess it's a yin and yang, right? Hey, John feels great, but
our listeners miss out on this unbelievable
screw the
interview.
show. Just go to Orange Theory.
Let's get to this.
What percentage chance would you guys give the Padres of making the postseason?
51%. That's my answer.
You're serious, right?
I'm like dead
So
serious.
just a little more likely than unlikely as we sit here today, even though they're game out.
Like that to me is still saying
you're a believer.
I think they can make the postseason. I obviously expect them to make the postseason because if they don't, then we are DEFCON 1. But I don't feel like overly confident. So yeah, I'll give him 51% chance.
I'll go a bit lower, 50.
No,
complete
what?
coin flip. My level of confidence is 50-50. Goes with the wind. One day they're in, the next day they're out, which is basically their last 2 weeks. They played their way in with the 12-3 stretch, then played their way out with the 1-6 stretch. I think we're going to be just talking about that a lot. Like they're not going to go 20-1 to distance themselves. They're not going 1-20, hopefully, to fall back behind. So I think we're going to be talking about it a lot right now. I'd say it's a complete coin flip, 50-50. Next question. Look at this text line, by the way. People are ripping Orange Theory. Why?
Are you worried about Team USA in men's basketball?
This team is not good.
Hey, remember, I called it. They're going to lose.
I think
I'm on Team Brent with that.
Really?
They'll lose it. I am. Well, let's make a bet. I'm
remember,
serious.
I said I'm still getting that team that blew it after Dream Team.
I'm not saying they don't win the gold because they could lose and win the gold if they lost in group play.
It doesn't matter though.
Well, if they lose, then they're nowhere near this greatest of all time.
But is the goal not to just win the gold medal?
No, it is. But would you agree they've had all these gold medal teams?
It would shut up
Colin's talking about
take about 92.
Would you be willing to do a sushi roll bet?
So
like they would have to go 6-0 for you. It's not crazy. I think it's 3 group play games, like Serbia as well. I mean, they're going to win games, but for you, they'd have to go 6-0. I'm saying, and I think Brent's saying the same thing. He's not part of the bet, and Brent doesn't like sushi, but I think they'll lose. We saw them firsthand. Again, it was the first time. It was an exhibition. They weren't overly impressive. They didn't have KD, huge loss.
Yeah.
And then today they didn't have KD either, and they did lead by 24 in the third quarter. It got down to 6.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they're susceptible for whatever reason, just based on my 2 eyes.
Also, this is their second game playing together. All right. They are still figuring out rotations.
They have 3 more.
They have 3 more exhibitions. And
no,
like you said,
you're right.
Without KD, and they finish off the game. By the way, I watched almost the entire game.
You were texting me right away.
The closing group of today's game.
Yeah, who was on the floor?
It was Tyrese Halliburton. By the way, without him, they don't probably win. Same thing with Devin Booker.
Okay.
It was Tyrese Halliburton, Devin Booker. I think it was Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, and maybe Jason Tatum.
So not LeBron.
Or Steph.
Right. Okay.
Or KD, because I know he's hurt,
well,
right?
Yep.
Embiid, by the way, I think Embiid is a really bad international player just because the court's smaller. He can't grift his way to the free throw line like he does in the NBA.
Yeah, it's more physical.
It's more physical, and he's slow. I think Anthony Davis is the perfect
He's been amazing
international player. Same thing with Bam. And what's going to really get in their way, truthfully, is Steve Kerr, because Steve Kerr is deceptive to putting out really bad lineups or waiting too long to put in, the lineup that works best. I think their best lineup, I don't think that they even played with their best lineup yet. And other teams are going to be attacking them. It's going to be tough. I don't think they're going to blow every team out. I do think they're going to win the gold, but I wouldn't be surprised, right, if they lose. But again, the goal is to win the gold. And if they win the gold, how can you say this team is bad?
Not bad. Not bad. There's a big difference. They've probably had 6, 7, 8 U.S. gold medal winning teams that have not lost a game. Now that I look at the schedule, though, I'm almost on Team Jim. I'm still willing to make the bet. They're not losing in group play. Here's who they play: Serbia, South Sudan, Puerto Rico.
Jokic, he can be a problem, but
I'm
again,
but-
other than that, yeah.
Okay, so
I get
there's
it,
your now they could then lose once they get into the round of 8 quarterfinals, like the Canadas of the world, the Frances of the world, whomever else.
Australia looked pretty
Australia's
good
of the world. But I don't know. It's just in watching the team, I don't think it's a perfect roster. I do think they're aging. If they suffer an injury, like KD cannot play, or if someone goes down, they're going to be in a close game that they're going to need to pull out.
I think they have a really good roster. I just think that they have to figure out what lineups work best. And truthfully,
might be true.
I don't think Embiid should be starting for this team. But
That may
that's
be
just
true.
me. And maybe they're thinking this like, hey, we need Anthony Davis off the bench because Anthony Davis off the bench, nobody's second unit is
Guy's
going
been amazing.
is going to even compare to what Anthony Davis can give you off the bench, which is one of probably the best international players that you could have.
He's like 15 and 15 and 5.
And he
15
blocks-
points,
I mean,
15
it just-
rebounds,
yeah,
5
it
blocks,
is
5
a-
assists. Yeah. Next question.
Who's going to win the home run derby?
Wow. Well, we would know if Kevin was on the show. Kevin Brown is calling it.
Yeah, we could ask Kevin that
could have asked
question.
him.
I'll take Gunnar Henderson.
Why? Okay. You're going to go. He's been great.
Brett asked me the question.
Okay, he's been great. Here's who I'm going to go with. I don't like saying this. I'm just going to go with Pete Alonso. His whole career is based around this event. Like he gets ready. He like gets all hyped up for this thing. He's a 2-time winner, right? Has he won the last 2 years?
Yeah, it's 2. They said if he wins tonight, he'll be the
Second or third to win 3 straight.
The second. Griffey Jr. is the only one that
I'll
did
just go with Alonso. I mean, he's done this thing so many times, so he knows what it takes. I think Gunnar Henderson is a good bet as well. I like Jose Ramirez. I think Pete Alonso is going to win it.
Okay.
Next question.
What's one word, Jim,
One
to
word, Jim.
describe the Padres' first half?
Do you know where I stole this from?
That's way more than one word. You
No,
think, do you know
stop.
where I stole this from? Is how they played? Doesn't even make sense.
You know what?
All right, here's what I'm going to go. No, I'm kidding. Where are you going to say? Don't say blah. Because that's what I said. Where? What?
I was gonna say the question I stole from Darnay last night on his big sports rap
that we were on.
Yeah.
I thought about asking Darnay to come on today after the Kevin Brown
You'd be like,
denial.
absolutely not.
But he was just on, wasn't he just on Friday?
Probably. Yeah,
with J Riff and Fletch. So I didn't want to bother
J-Riff
him.
and friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Roller coaster.
You said that last night.
That's 2 words.
Is it?
Yes.
Who cares?
Okay.
That's who cares?
Okay.
That is what I would describe the first half.
That's it?
Yeah.
You don't want to, you can explain beyond that.
Well, it's pretty self-explanatory.
It goes up and down.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to give you an original word that you haven't heard elsewhere. Blah.
Nah.
Which I also said last night on Sports Wrap. The reason I say it is only because of their finish. I do think they've been entertaining. I do. And if they didn't finish 1-6 and finish 4-3,
or even 3-4,
right? If they were either 3-4 puts them 5 over 500,
which would have been like
4-3 puts them 7 over. So you're right. If they would have finished 3-4, I would have used a different word. I would have said entertaining. I don't know exactly what I would have said, but I would have changed my word. That's for sure. But 1-6 wasn't good enough to close. So it's kind of meh or blah or average.
All right. So if they finished, like you said, just 3-4, they're 5 games over 500.
Yep. They're a game up in a playoff spot.
Right now. So that means there'd be 54 and 45. No, sorry. No, I'm an idiot. 50.
What's the record? 50 and 49. They're
50 and
52 and 47.
52 and 47. They would have a 2-game lead on the Cardinals right now in the 5th wild card spot if they did that.
I don't know if that's accurate, but I like it.
Well, the Cardinals are 50 and 46.
So 52 and 47 is not a 2-game lead on 50
2.5.
and 46. No, it's actually
1.5.
1.5.
Okay, never mind.
But it might be 1. But your point is we'd feel differently. What did we say on Friday? Win 2 out of 3, good taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
Lose 2 out of 3, bad taste in your mouth.
Yucky.
Everyone feels that way.
Everybody feels that way. Except for Manny Machado and Mike Schilt, but everybody should feel like we squandered an opportunity. We were playing really good baseball and we tripped over ourselves once again. And that is the MO of this team. That is what the team identity is they can't not trip over themselves after playing good stretches of baseball.
So far.
But at some point, John, that just becomes who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're 99 games into the season. Are they not who they are?
They are. And I said it a year ago, but who they are may be good enough. Maybe,
yeah.
It may not be. A year ago, they were chasing something that was very challenging to chase down. They just were. They were always in a chase position. This year, they haven't always been in that chase position, and the league has been very average by and large. Your points are spot on. 99 games is a large sample size. They've basically been a 500 team. I could probably argue, though, Jim, they could head into September, a game over 500, and be in position to be in position. That's not a dream scenario.
When is this team
taking advantage of something like that?
Have been in position to be in position and like taken advantage of it or played really hot baseball? Like, no. The 2022, as I said earlier today, yeah, they backed into the postseason. They didn't play good baseball in September, but because of what they did earlier in that year in April and May, got them to 89 wins.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't done that this year. They're a 500 team. Is the stretch coming? I mean, they had a stretch and they gave it away. So how do we know and how can we trust them that if they have another stretch, they're not going to give it right back away again?
Well, we can't. We're going to follow along. Roller coaster is the right 2-word term to describe this team through 99 games. You're 100% right. We cannot.
Yeah, I don't trust them.
Until you don't trust it, but that doesn't mean it's not attainable, I guess.
It's attainable. It's there.
Like you said, 51%, according to you, that they make their way in. So it is attainable.
It's attainable for sure. They're not 7 games out of a playoff spot right now. They're a game or game and a half or whatever it is. So a lot of things can happen. I understand that. But my trust level for this team isn't very high because they just haven't proven it. This core group of guys, they haven't proven it. This franchise over the last decade, it's not fair because the first 5 years of Preller was, rebuild and blah. But since 2019, when they actually said we're going to try to win by signing Manny Machado,
right.
Since then, there's not a lot of instances where they have, outperformed or
expectations.
Yeah, like 2022 is it, and that right now is completely the outlier.
Let's run through that real quick. Okay, I'll go through the history of Manny Machado as a San Diego Padre ebook with you.
Go right ahead.
We could write it.
I know
we
it
could
very
publish
well.
that thing. 2019,
they quit.
Manny was horrific in the second half of the season. He gets the manager fired. That's fine. It's year one. Andy Green wasn't going to be here right now anyway.
But they quit.
I agree. 2020, I'm with you where you can remove it, but it's unfair to say that they didn't do good work in it. It's not their fault.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't fault them for the 60 games. So let's just give them a thumbs up there. That's fair. It was positive, and Manny was good.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to? I don't want to completely erase it. I don't think that's completely fair.
But I also don't think you should put too much stock.
Agreed. So I'm putting some stock in it that, truth be told, in a time where everything sucked, they gave us some joy, and it was enjoyable.
I agree with that, yes.
2021 was an abject failure. They got off to the best start in the history of the franchise.
They revolted against the manager.
And then the pitching issues. They ran out of who were they pitching? Vince Velasquez, Jake Arrieta.
Yeah. But they
Tatis and Machado in the dugout in St. Louis.
Yeah, they literally, and Eric Hosmer has said this on his podcast multiple times, they hated Jace Tingler, and they quit on him as well.
So that was 19 and 21. They're quitting. 22, they got off to an amazing start. Now, I wouldn't use the same term you used. I don't think they backed in. They were not the last team in. They were 2 games clear of the Phillies. Their record in September was at least 500. We'd have to look it up. So I don't think they backed in. They weren't playing their best baseball. And then they made a run. Credit to them, and a good run, because it's their first time in a championship series since 1998. By franchise standard, a very good season, and they went through the Dodgers. Hard to argue that.
Yeah, there's not a lot you could say about 2022 that's
not positive.
Yeah, like it's definitely all positives when you think of 2022.
Okay. 2023, arguably the worst season in the history of the franchise, if not the worst season in the history of the franchise, considering expectations. They said the E word.
Mm-hmm.
And 2024, jury still out.
Yeah.
So more bad than good in Manny's
way more bad than good
$600 million tenure. It's not going to be that, but he signed a 300. He got another 350. They ripped up the first 300 for 350. He's going to have a $500 million tenure here, and it's been more down than up on your coaster.
Yep, he's the leader. He's the captain. Air quotes.
Is that a good ebook, by the way?
Would I listen to that ebook? I mean, there's a lot there too. That we
I mean,
haven't even
honestly,
said.
it would probably be good.
Yeah.
The Manny Machado era in San Diego. Would you listen to that after the era's over?
I mean, I lived it, but
well, we actually have talked. We could just combine every show we've ever done. It'd be a 5,000-hour ebook.
Yeah, but
for $19.
For anybody that wants a good juicy story and a good juicy book to listen to, ebook. Yeah, I would say that running through 4 managers and ups and downs and major collapses and turmoil in the clubhouse and friction between the front office and the players and the managers and everything behind closed doors that, fans don't really know about. Like, yeah, I'd listen to that book in a second because it is a wild freaking ride so far. It hasn't been the most enjoyable, honestly. Like, if you're asking any Padres fan over the last 6 seasons, yes, 2022 is the first thing that everyone should and will talk about. But to describe the last 6 years, I think Padres fans wouldn't consider it like the most enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's been entertaining. Like, again, it's hard without perspective. Like, if you've been a Padres fan for 40 years, where does this 5-year run sit in the 40-year run? You've had 84, you've had the late 90s. Maybe it isn't the best in the history of the franchise because they've been to 2 World Series, and that hasn't happened in the Manny Machado era. But with that being said, we've seen a lot worse too.
I will push back definitively, and I think we had somebody in our chat on YouTube tell us that this was the worst period of Padres baseball that they've ever seen, and I'm like, whoa, stop.
No, it's not.
I mean, this isn't even close. Like, this team has been around since 1969, and
they have a winning record for 10 years.
They have made 2 World Series, and I think how many postseason appearances? 7 or 8. Like,
who knows?
This entire franchise has predominantly been losing after losing season, with very, very rare winning years sprinkled in there. There's not a lot of sustained success here.
They've never had a 100-win season.
Yeah, this team is not when I think of the standards of baseball, Padres aren't close. I'm sorry, I don't hurt your feelings out there, but that's a fact. They are a team that I truly think is going to have to just have 1 year that's completely magical that to win it, because I don't see them having at least for my time, 7 straight seasons where they win 90 plus games and then 1 year they finally break through. I think they're going to have that one magical year where everything goes right for them, everything falls right for them, and then they win a World Series. Other than hey, we're going to have the decade of the Padres, right? 7 straight years of 90 plus wins. I don't see that happening.
The reason I would take it 10 times out of 10 is they've got the 3rd worst winning percentage in the history of baseball as an organization, and they've been wildly entertaining since 2020. Hasn't gotten you the results you're hoping for, but they got no titles ever. So you got the 3rd worst winning percentage in baseball history, the Padres, and they've been wildly entertaining since 2020. You want to see it result in a World Series at some point, but I'd prefer entertainment to apathy, which is what we're going through in the 2010s. That's not happening in the 2020s.
Don't get me wrong. I've had a blast covering this team.
Yeah, it's been entertaining
because it's been super fun and entertaining from a standpoint of there is never a dull moment, it feels like.
None.
And in our position, as long as there's no dull moments, then it
That's
is
a good thing.
fun and it is a good thing.
All right, we will hear from Jurickson Profar in Arlington. He was on MLB Network earlier. We'll hear from Jurickson Profar on the other side at 4:45. Your chance to win tickets to see Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp right here in San Diego. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right. So if you're a veteran, listen up. Did you know that you can access up to 100% of your home's equity right now? Hey guys, it's Schaefer. You can do it with Loan Pronto's VA Equity Advantage program. You can get 30, 50, 100 grand or more and use that money to pay off all those credit cards and personal loans, car loans, or maybe use the cash to do that project. Veterans love working with Loan Pronto because they make it easy. No junk fees, no hassle. They can unlock that cash in your home's equity in a matter of weeks. Don't keep paying insane rates on credit cards. There's a smarter alternative with Loan Pronto. Get more info. Start the process now at loanpronto.com. Or current VA loan rates over 6.5%. Loan Pronto can get you a streamlined refinance with a lower rate right now with no income verification and no appraisal. Lower your monthly payment big time. Loan Pronto makes it so easy for veterans. Call now 619-207-4336. 619-207-4336. That's 619-207-4336. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
All right, this update's brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Padres stumbled into the All-Star break, losing 6 of their last 7 games at home. They're now 50-49 at the break, a game and a half out of the final wild card spot in the National League, even though Mike Schilt and Manny Machado said it was a great first half. Padres now have the All-Star break here. Tonight is the Home Run Derby, followed by the All-Star game tomorrow night, where Jurickson Profar will be starting in left field for the National League. Corbin Burns was announced today as the American League starter for tomorrow night, going up against Paul Skeens for the National League. And this morning, Team USA Basketball took on Team Australia in an USA showcase. They beat Team Australia 98-92 after almost blowing a 20-point lead. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com. That's progressive.com.
All right, this hour, do not go anywhere. We have those tickets. You are waiting for the Outlaw Music Festival. This is amazing. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp in San Diego, July 29th. We'll let you know when to call. The return of Trainwreck Radio will be later this hour. We'll play some trivia. Next hour, your chance to see Niall Horn, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, July 30th. So a couple of great shows here this July in San Diego. All right, we told you we would hear from Jurickson Profar.
Yes.
In Arlington with the Padre All-Stars, there are a number of them. 4, right, that are there?
There's 4 there. Toddy's not there.
Is he zooming in?
No, he did put something on his social media account.
Saw that.
Saying that he was going to miss this year's game, which it's fine. There's no point.
Couldn't do the Derby?
No, we can't do the Derby, John.
Stand in there, take some hacks?
No. Luis Ariz is there. He's not going to play in the game, it looks like. We don't know if we're going to see Robert Suarez. Jackson Merrill, we will definitely see, and Profar starting.
Well, by the way, real quick, burying the lead. So Profar, they've announced all-star lineups. Profar's batting 9th.
Okay.
He's going to use that to his advantage in the second half, and it's 600 and hit 30 home runs. He hates slights. Jurickson Profar, is that unfair when you look at that lineup for him to be batting 9th? He's hitting over 300. He's got his near 900 OPS. Should he be hitting 9th in that lineup?
Who cares?
Jurickson Profar, I think, does.
I don't think Profar is like, I'm hitting 9th.
9th, dude. This guy's like leading off for the Padres. Not really. He's hitting in the heart of their lineup.
I saw Thad Nadego.
Oh, he was mad.
Greatest 9-hitter of all time.
This year.
I think that's good, though, because that means he'll play more. Because let's say they just go 1, 2, 3. He's going to play at least 3 innings because they're not going to pull him out, without an at bat and just go, okay, you played 3 innings in the field.
True. Or maybe they bat around in the first.
Well, maybe.
And then maybe.
There is a little bit of controversy with the lineups. Did you catch this today? That Bruce Bochy has Aaron Judge cleaning up, and Paul Skeens is only going to pitch 1 inning. So everybody's saying, Bruce, bro, how could you not have Aaron Judge hitting at least 3rd? So he's 100% going to face Paul Skeens.
He'll face him.
If Paul Skeens goes through 1 through 3, he's not going to.
No,
face
I
him.
understand how baseball works. There's 3 outs in an inning. Therefore, the minimum you could face is 3 batters.
Correct. So you have
trust the process.
So you're confident that Paul Skeens will either allow a hit, a walk, or a home run, or whatever.
Well, no, I'm confident that a 4th batter will bat in the inning.
So he's going to give up a walk, or
no, he could do that, and still 3 batters could bat in the inning.
Well, that's true, but my point is he's going to allow.
Who cares? Is anyone going to their TV to watch the Skeens Judge matchup? Seriously. Well, I'm not going to watch now in New York. I'm a Yankee fan. I was going to watch.
No. Here's the thing. In baseball,
you told me Profar. Who cares?
Yeah, because who cares? I'm sorry. We love Jurickson Profar here, but he's not Aaron Judge. Sorry. And Paul Skeens is like the it thing right now.
Okay.
So you telling me that doesn't intrigue you at all, Paul?
0.
Well, okay, I get it from you, but
why from me?
Because who cares?
Because in baseball, I'm there for the game. I'm not there for
You're not there for the game, for the All-Star game. You're there for matchups.
I'm not.
Really?
I'm either there for the game or I'm not. I'm not there for matchups. I don't turn on an All-Star game and be like, oh, finally we get the Robert Suarez Bryce Harper rematch. We saw in the regular season. I mean, that's not why I'm watching an All-Star game.
I will agree with you on 2 now. You
used to get every matchup.
No, I know you get every matchup essentially, but a couple years ago when Shohei Ohtani was starting the All-Star game,
everyone was into that. You're right.
Yes.
Trout Ohtani.
And also Fernando Tatis Jr. leading off.
And in the WBC, everyone was into Trout Ohtani as well.
In those games, didn't matter. Who cared?
Maybe I'm off here. Skeens Judge to me is not Trout Ohtani.
I am intrigued by Skeens Judge if that were to happen.
Trust me, you're going to see it.
Huh?
You're going to see it. In the All-Star game. Trust me.
Okay.
You're going to see it.
All right. If it doesn't happen, then I'm
Blame
going
me.
to blame you and yell at you.
Tweet me.
That's one of those things where if this would have been like 15 years ago where we didn't have interleague play the way it is, then it would be like, yes, I'm appointment viewing. I'm going to be there for the first inning because we're not going to get to see this unless they meet in the World Series, by some miracle. But now with the balanced schedule or whatever they call it, granted, Skeens might not come up in the rotation, but there's still a chance that he could
100%.
play the Yankees.
They've already played the Yankees this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they're going to meet again.
In the World Series?
Right. Just like 1960. Okay. All right, let's hear from Jerks and Profar. Do you know the story of that? Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to Steve Hartman you.
Oh, great.
What happened in the 1960 World Series?
1960?
Yeah, you remember. This is 1960. This was like yesterday, 64 years ago. Who played?
Was it Yankees Pirates?
Thank you. What happened?
Walk off
in all the games in Game 7.
Game 7.
I actually don't know, but I think the answer is no. But the Yankees lost to the Pirates in 7. The Yankees, their 3 wins were by 10 plus runs, and their 4 losses were by 2 runs or fewer.
I'm pretty sure that the Pirates had a walk off home run to win.
They may have. Anyway, I didn't know. Who walked off in 1960 Game 7?
And I ended up getting you.
Who walked off of the World Series?
It's going to be a name that once you say it, you're like, oh, okay. Because it's a name that's been it talks about a lot.
Well, it's not Bobby Thompson.
No, that was the Giants.
Bill Mazeroski had the series-winning 9th inning home run. The first time a winner-take-all World Series game ended with a home run. Yeah, it was a walk-off. Oops, my bad. All right, let's hear from Jerks and Profar.
Okay.
Congratulations, man. So many ups and downs in your career. What does this mean to you to be to the point to where you're starting in the All-Star game?
Oh, a lot. It means the world. Always, I fell in love with baseball at 6 years old, and, in Curacao, I never even thought about being a major league player, was just playing baseball for the love of the game. And, when I signed at 16, reached the major leagues early, and then a lot of injuries, but one thing, I just kept working every day, and this is rewarding,
When I go back to the depth chart from February or March of the San Diego Padres, I remember the message to everybody was like, who's going to play in the outfield for the Padres outside of Tatis? And now sitting here at the All-Star game, not too much later, we have Profar and Jackson Merrill in the outfield. What was the message to you when you showed up at spring training, and what was the opportunity that you saw there?
There wasn't really a message, but obviously, by their contract, they're going to get someone to play in the outfield. But I came in with a mission. I just came in feeling good. I played in the Caribbean Series. I played, winter ball. So I felt like, I'm ready to take this job. And I just kept being consistent. One thing I wasn't during my whole career, but this year I really mentally put it together.
I feel like you've proved all the doubters wrong, man, and I'm so happy to see the amount of success that you've been able to have, and for the All-Star game to be here in Texas. I'm assuming that holds a special place in your heart for multiple reasons.
Yes. This is my second home. This is where they give me an opportunity to become a professional baseball player, and I play for a lot of years here. I have, family here. My son and daughter was born here. So this is a very, very special place in my heart.
Enjoy the moment, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so that's Jerks and Profar. We can react. We have a massive sports media story to share with you on the other side. Plus, if you want to play trivia, you need to call right now for your chance to win 2 free tickets to see Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp July 29th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. First 2 callers will be our contestants for Trainwreck Radio. It's trivia. You need to call right now, 877-767-4760. Call right now if you want those free tickets. 2 free tickets. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp. 877-767-4760. An amazing giveaway, plus a massive breaking sports media story next. All right, a massive breaking sports media story we'll share with you on the other side, plus sports trivia. Trainwreck Radio next. All right, how about this for a story? Skip Bayless, the controversial talking head at Fox, out after 8 years per the New York Post. His final day will be this summer, hosting Undisputed on FS1, which I think has been an utter failure from a ratings perspective, but he's been on the air for 8 years, making tens of millions of dollars per year. Skip Bayless, controversial talking head, out at Fox after 8 years.
It's an utter failure because every time that Skip Bayless speaks, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
Has it always been that way?
No,
It's going back to his ESPN days was a little different.
No,
right?
I think back at his ESPN days when he was with Stephen A.
Yep.
There was a little more thought.
Yeah, definitely.
But over time, it just went down the path of you're just spewing like
hatred.
Hate. Like
Yeah.
you just hate certain people. You don't have any critical thought put into things.
Mhm.
Like you can't give anybody a compliment. You always have to take the side of, I mean, let's be real here. The biggest sports figure of our lifetime right now, the last 20 years,
LeBron
has been LeBron.
Yeah, Tiger LeBron.
Tiger
yeah.
LeBron.
Mhm.
And all you've done is create
Hate
a
on
career of hating on LeBron.
Yeah, you're right.
And at a certain point, people are just like, dude, I don't want to listen to you anymore. And it's just like the other day, he went on his podcast and he said that to him, in his opinion, Bronny James has a better clutch gene
than LeBron.
Like there's no such thing as a clutch. Like what are we talking about here? And by the way, if you're going down that path, it just shows how much you hate LeBron and how people just don't care what you have to say anymore. He good riddance. You don't need that type of figure on television anymore.
He's in his 70s. So if
Yeah.
you're Fox, you're probably looking to your future as well. It's not like he's like you have to have him for another deal. You got to keep him until he's 77 or something.
And truthfully, like the sports shows and the talking heads and people doing podcasts and how people are nowadays, I blame on Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith, truthfully.
You know what, though? I blame the people that put him in a position to do what they do. Like they've been asked to do that role. Maybe not the exact way they're doing it, but this era of like, what was the original show that I liked that's still on ESPN? Like PTI. This post-PTI talking head era, there's been a lot of good in it. PTI is a brilliant show, in my opinion. But what spawned out of it is a lot of insanity. But that's not like Skip Bayless or Stephen A. Smith's fault. They've been like propelled or propped up into those positions. If it wasn't them, it was going to be someone else. This is what the networks wanted.
I also think people they find it crazy how these networks are giving these guys the amount of money that they're giving them.
Right. But it feels
I
don't know. It feels live programming. I don't know. We can get into it maybe in the 5 o'clock hour. We've got a great giveaway right now. We've got a great giveaway in the 5 o'clock hour. Let's play.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants, we have Cruz and we have Tommy. Cruz, you called in first, so you have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
Let's go with John, please.
All right, so Cruz and John.
And Tommy and Jim. Tommy, you there?
Yeah, let's do it.
Wait, do you go by Tommy or Tom? Because we have Tom Cruise on the line right now.
Tommy and Cruz.
But you go by Tommy?
Give me Tommy.
All right, let's go with Tommy.
Okay.
It's okay. We can call him Tommy. We're tight.
Okay.
Brent, what's the question of the day?
All right, guys. Not too long ago, the Washington Post published a article about the cost of a hot dog at every Major League Baseball ballpark. There are actually only 8 ballparks in all of Major League Baseball that charge $4 or less for a hot dog. Today's question: name any of those 8 ballparks that charge $4 or less for a hot dog.
Whoa. All right, we're looking for cheap hot dog ballparks. Are we just naming the team, Brent? Like if they said,
Yeah, you don't
team.
need the ballpark.
Okay, just name the team.
Just the
We're looking for the 8 teams with the cheapest hot dogs in Major League Baseball.
Okay.
Which everyone should know, right?
Duh. Cruz, you're up first. What's your first guess? You do have a lifeline, which is John, if you want to use it.
Actually, it's Tommy's first. Oh no, Tommy had no. You're right.
We haven't done this for a while.
Yeah.
All right, Cruz, you're up first.
No, Cruz got to pick.
Yeah, Cruz pick.
Yeah, Tommy goes first.
Tommy, sorry, you're up first.
All right.
Tommy's
If I'm
up
going
first.
first, I'm gonna pick. Give me the Detroit Tigers.
Detroit Tigers.
Tigers. Do they have a cheap hot dog? No, they don't. Of course they don't.
They have an
Why
expensive
would
hot
they?
dog.
Wow.
Yeah, they have expensive glizzy.
What?
Cruz, you're up next. What's your first guess? You have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Let's go with the Brewers.
I like
Brewers. I like that one. Got me on the list.
that. On the
Ah, on the
list. They're in that
list.
like beer and hot dog area of the country.
Yeah.
Which is
Back to
every
you,
area.
Tommy. What's your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Give me the lifeline.
Okay.
Jim obviously knows this.
I'll go with Cleveland. Do you take that?
Ooh, the first place Cleveland baseball team, huh? All right, what the heck? I asked for it. I might as well take it.
Jim, you're unbelievable.
I don't know.
You don't know anything about hot dog prices in baseball?
This is pure guessing, bro.
For you.
Okay. Back to you.
Well, we know
Cruz.
one team that it's definitely not.
Cruz, if you get this right, you win. What is your second guess? And you do have a lifeline if you choose to use it.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Diamondbacks.
D-backs for the win? Oh my gosh!
What?
Mr. Hot Dog Connoisseur.
Cruz knows his hot
Cruz
dogs.
walks off.
That was a convincing win right there.
You said Cleveland. It's obviously Cincinnati if you're going in Ohio. Is
Cleveland
Cincinnati
is
on the
close.
list?
Cleveland's close. See?
No,
Oh, I was.
Cleveland is a better guess than Cincinnati.
Oh, idiot!
All right.
What would you? No,
Okay,
don't
I
tell
said
us.
Cincinnati.
So you would have picked Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
No, I would have actually picked. Let me hear who's on the list.
No. Pick.
I actually would have picked. I'm being serious now. I would have picked the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are definitely on the list. Thank you.
Nope.
Ah,
idiot.
Right, the cheapest dog in the whole league is up in Toronto.
That's cheating.
How's it cheating?
It's a baseball team.
It's a baseball
They
park.
use Canadian dollars.
They don't. It's $2.55 for a hot dog in Toronto.
It's amazing.
Yep. Arizona, it's $2.99.
Wow.
Then it's the Marlins for $3. The Twins, $3.99. Braves, $3.99. Then the Royals, Mariners, and Brewers are all $4.
Wow.
Padres are
Who is
towards
the most
bottom.
expensive
Guys,
dog?
Just get into that, John. The most expensive dog is, believe it or not, probably because they have to make up for crappy ticket sales, Oakland.
Yeah, makes sense.
$8.39 for one hot dog.
Because they have to get some money.
Then it's
fair.
the Angels for $8, and then it's our Padres tied with the Doyers and the Cubs for $7.99 for a hot dog.
Well, at least in Chicago, you get a good hot dog. Get a good
You
Chicago dog.
Get a bunch of stuff on it.
Yeah, here it's like just a hot dog.
Is it not a good hot dog here?
It's an okay hot dog.
It's not an $8 hot dog.
I've never had it because I don't eat meat,
That's true. I remember that.
but they have other things that are good.
Yeah, they have the acai bowls.
Those are very good.
Yeah, they're probably
right.
$12, right?
Probably, if not more.
I had
Congratulations,
to explain to
Cruz.
I had to explain to my dad what those were when we walked by.
Acai
I was
bowls,
like,
that's
oh, I
hilarious.
said John eats those all the time.
Every single day. All right, Cruz, congratulations. You've won a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, July 29th. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp, and more. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Keep listing this week for your chance to win. Next hour, we've got Niall Horn tickets to give away for July 30th here in San Diego. Be listing for your chance to win. We'll get back to the Padres. Do you agree with Manny Machado, who says it was a good first half? 877-767-4760. Hour 3, Jon and Jim next.
This update is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Padres finish up the first half playing really bad baseball, losing 6 of their final 7 home games. They're 50-49 at the break. Next game will be this Friday in Cleveland when they start a daunting 9-game road trip through Cleveland, Washington, and Baltimore. But until then, they have off. And tonight is the Home Run Derby. Tomorrow, the All-Star game. Jurickson Profar, of course, will be starting for the National League in left field tomorrow night. And Team USA basketball this morning beat Team Australia 98-92 after almost blowing a 20-point lead. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
Jon and Jim.
Limping into the All-Star break after dropping 2 of 3 to the Braves.
What has to happen in the second half?
And does it involve a move at the trading deadline from AJ Preller? Plus, we inch closer to football season as camps open this week. Now, it's time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of Jon and Jim. This hour, your chance to win tickets to see Niall Horan here in San Diego, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, July 30th. Ticketmaster.com for tickets and info. Niall Horan from One Direction. We'll give those tickets away this hour. Jim just mentioned the Home Run Derby. It will get underway momentarily. We've made our picks. Jim saying Gunnar Henderson, and I said Pete Alonso. The odds, I was trying to find okay, here are the odds real quick. All right. So Alonso's the favorite, and Henderson's the second most likely to win.
Okay.
Alonso's plus 305, so 3-1. Henderson's 4-1. Bobby Witt just over 4-1. Marcelo Zuna's like 5-1.
Isn't there a Ranger in it?
Garcia, yes,
I'll
is
take
in
him.
it. Plus 600. Teoscar Hernandez plus 1,200. Jose Ramirez plus 1,400. Alex Bowman, the Phillies, is 24-1. Anyway, the favorites are Alonso and Henderson to win the Home Run Derby. Is this compared to the game itself? Are you more intrigued by the game itself, which has 4 Padres, 3 of which that are going to play, or the Derby, which is this made-for-TV event? It's good television, traditionally, right? All these home runs. Are you more intrigued by the Derby or the game itself?
The game every day of the week.
Really?
Unless
maybe there's a Padre in it or something.
If Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Kyle Schwarber,
Fernando Tatis Jr.,
Tatis if he's healthy,
yep.
Any other big boppers out there, like then I would be definitely Bryce Harper if he's in it.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like the dunk contest.
Yeah,
Like
that's just what I was going to say.
These names aren't fully. I don't think that's. Don't you? Gunnar Henderson is a legit major leaguer. Pete Alonso has won this event before.
Let's be real here. How many people nationally
know
much about Gunnar Henderson?
That's
no
reasonable.
offense to Gunnar Henderson, but outside Baltimore,
right?
You'd be hard pressed to find a good amount of people. They're like, oh, dude, Gunnar Henderson.
Don't you think this list is better than the typical slam dunk contest list?
Of course, because they're all major leaguers. Slam dunk contest, you got G leaguers in it now.
Like one.
Like multiple, John.
I'm just worried that in 5 years they're going to be in the same boat as the slam dunk contest, to where it's just like every year we have, well,
you're going to always get
bigger
major
stars
leaguers.
not doing. Well, I know we're only getting. I just mean the star power is just going to go down every year to where it's just like, oh well, if Judge isn't doing it, I'm not going to do it either. Kind of like how they were. Oh well, if LeBron's not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. And
what's the incentive here? Is there money on the line for the winner?
Yes.
Sure.
A good amount, probably. Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point that these names aren't screaming household. Pete Alonso is absolutely a household name. Teoscar Hernandez, Jose Ramirez, are marketable, well-known baseball names.
The winner will get $1 million. The total prize pool is $2.5 million.
Okay,
so
so
the
they
champ
pay
will
him
take
to
home
do
$1
it.
million. Runner-up will get $750,000.
All right, so they pay him to do it, essentially. And that's a reason to be in it. But if you're Shohei Ohtani and you make $70 million a year, I don't think you're going to be in it for the $700K.
Shohei, I think, has done it 1 year, correct?
Yeah, he did 1 year.
But it was not good. Has Aaron Judge ever done it?
He did okay for like one round. And then he
I don't know
tired.
the Derby histories. I don't know.
Yeah, see,
I have
that's
no
the thing.
idea.
It's not like they were in the past where you had like Barry Bonds and Ken Griffey Jr., Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, like the big time boppers. The Josh Hamilton, where you had that crazy home run derby in New York. The rules now have made it complicated and confusing, and it's, to me, kind of an afterthought. I am much more intrigued by the actual All-Star game itself. From one, the introductions. I love the introductions. That's probably my favorite part of the All-Star game. The start of the game, I love, but once you get to the middle innings, I'm tuned out. I really just don't.
Middle relievers, and
I really
Marlins
don't
closers.
care. Like, I want to see the starters, and then if I'm watching, like, I want to watch Jackson Merrill tomorrow night. Other than that, I'm out.
Aaron Judge won his rookie year. He hasn't been in it since. That's 2017.
70470, start with team. What are you more excited by, the Derby or the game itself? 70470, start it with team, or you can call us 877-767-4760. That's 877-767-4760. We'll give away those Nile Horn tickets coming up at 5:30 or so. We started the show by talking about the Padres limping into the break, which is what they did. That's completely fair. They were 1-6 in their last 7 games after that really good stretch of 12-3. We can play back what Manny Machado had to say about the team, but what he did say was that the Padres had a good half at 50-49. Now, that's very debatable, and because of their 1-6 stretch, they're actually on the outside looking in. The good news is there's 63 games to be played, but they had it set up. They had it set up beautifully. You're home. They're playing good teams. They did, including Atlanta, but they had it set up beautifully. They gave it all away. We said, just don't give it away. You played 12-3, and they basically gave it away, and now it's like starting over again when you start the second half.
Yeah, I completely disagree with what Manny said. I don't think they had a really good first half. I think they had an okay first half. I think they squandered a lot of opportunities. And frankly, I think they're lucky to be in the position they are because of the amount of walk-offs they've had. A lot of them were blown leads, like those games, they're lucky to win. Now it's we don't complain about wins here. Like, hey, get a win. It's all that matters. But again, it was a first half where you had yourself in position. You talked about it earlier in the show. Like, just get yourself in position to be in position. Well, they got themselves in position. It's not the end all be all, right? I get it. But they put themselves in a good spot to take advantage of the work that they put together through that 15-game stretch, and they completely fumbled over themselves. They completely tripped over themselves and went into the break losing 6-7, even though Manny Machado said that, don't worry about the last 7 games. Who cares? Like, that could actually hurt you down the road, Manny, if you end up missing out on the postseason by a couple games. You had a 7-game stretch at home before the All-Star break that you went 1-6 in.
See, I said the same thing last night, but the truth is you can say that about any poor stretch or series, or like we could say at the end of the season, hey, remember the 9-4 lead they had in Colorado?
Right.
Hey, remember the home series against the Rockies or the road series against the Angels?
Yeah, there's
going to be a million. Like you said, they're going to win 70 times. They're going to lose 70 times. I mean, you have so many opportunities in baseball to capitalize that, all teams are going to have poor play. Look at the LA Dodgers right now. They've lost 10 of 15 going into the break. Now they're better positioned. They're 15 games over 500, but by their standards, they're not exactly perfectly positioned. They could be playing a road series in the National League, for example.
So you mentioned standards for the Dodgers. What is the Padres standards?
Get in.
So, okay.
Get in.
Okay.
That's definitive.
Okay, so they're the lowest bar, the 6th.
It's not that low of a bar. I mean, getting in is better than 60% of the league.
But also, when you look at the records, it's not like they're competing with, 88-win teams.
No, they're not going to compete. You're right. They're not going to compete with the Phillies or the Dodgers in all likelihood to get in. They're not going to be at the top of the National League. No. They're not going to be at the bottom of the National League. They're going to be competing for the 5th or 6th spot in the league, the 3rd or 2nd wild card. That's the standard. Get in. For the Dodgers, your point's valid here. The Dodgers standard isn't that. They could get in with 109 wins. They lose in the first round. Their GM's got problems. At some point, you got to win in the postseason if you're LA. Different here. Whether we like it or not, it's different here today than it is in Los Angeles. What it is here today with the pared down payroll and with a 50-49 team is get in the playoffs. Now, from there, everyone wants to see them win the World Series. Nobody's going to be like, everyone wants to see them win the World Series. End of sentence. Like, I believe the players when they say it. I believe the front office, and I believe the fans. I'm not saying it's overly realistic or you just fall out of bed and everything magically occurs. But like you said earlier, one of these years, the way they're going to do it is just lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to be 13 straight playoff runs and year 8 and 9, you win the World. It's just get there and pray that you have a magical run.
Yeah, that's just
right.
Not really what you want to hear as a fan, but it's kind of the reality of this franchise. They're not a franchise that can have sustained success over a 7-year run here. Like, that's just not who they are. It's not their identity. It's not their makeup of a franchise. Their identity of the franchise is predominantly losing, and that's why, like, yeah, you're gonna have to have a lightning in a bottle type of year. You know, if it's 83 wins and you win the World Series, it's 83 wins and you win the World Series. Or if it's 99 wins and you win the World Series, it's 99 wins and you win the World Series. But I just don't envision this franchise anytime in the near future pulling off like 5 consecutive 90-win seasons. I just don't, especially with who's leading this team. I don't see that. The inconsistency of it, it's crazy. Like, you go through manager after manager, you go through dysfunctional, situation after dysfunctional situation, ups and downs, and hot stretches and cold stretches, and just all this stuff. That's not a good recipe to have sustained success here in San Diego or anywhere, frankly. And so, yeah, they're going to have to get lucky. Rather be lucky than good at times. And if you're just looking at their upcoming schedule here, it's daunting from a standpoint of, if you end up going 3-6 on this 9-game road trip to start the second half, you are now 2 games under, heading home to face the Dodgers for 2, and then you got the trade deadline. You played well against the Dodgers. I get that. But even if you enter the trade deadline day 1 game under, 500, 2 games under, 1 game over, that stretch at the beginning of August, you are, no matter what, will have to play really good baseball. And I'm not talking about 10-5. That'd be fine. I'm talking like 11-4, 12-3 type of stretch they just had these 15 games
maybe
just a week ago.
Maybe. Now, I would say this. They'll make decisions on the deadline before the Dodgers series. The Dodgers series starts July 30th, which is the deadline. So they'll have positioned themselves in the days leading up to that to what they're going to do. So on this 9-game road trip, I feel as if you'll have a decent feel for what's going on at the deadline for the Padres. So I'm with you on it being a critical 9-game stretch. I mean, you got to at least fall out of bed there 4-5, I'm thinking. And it's not the easiest thing. You're right. Cleveland's been great. Nationals have fallen off and the Orioles have been great. So if you go 4-5, you're fine. If you go 3-6, I don't think the world ends. And hopefully they do better than that. But no matter what they do on the road, barring nightmare scenario, they're all in, man. They're all in they're all in. I say that, but they're not going to trade away Ethan Salas or Leo DeVries. But they're all in on 2024, upgrading the roster at the trade deadline and putting themselves in a position where they can win 83 or 84 times and make the postseason. I don't think anything happens on this road trip that changes their opinion on this team.
A 1-8 road trip
that would change their opinion on the team. Correct.
I think a 3-6 road trip they can deal with, and Schilt will alibi the hell out of it.
I mean, a 1-8 road trip, you got massive problems. They just went 1-6, so that's 2-14.
I don't see that.
Either do I. And I don't want to forecast it. No. If it happens, we'll talk about it, but I don't want to forecast it.
But
I think they're better than that.
You better be ready to play some damn good baseball here, because you're facing 2 first-place teams, 2 of the best teams in the American League, and a Washington National team that I'm sure is like
at least thinking about
you
yeah,
a little bit, So it's going to be tough, and it won't be easy. Even if they have a hot stretch here, John, I fully expect them to give it back, because I don't trust them, and that's been their DNA this year. And even if they have a hot stretch or a cold stretch, I think that they can rebound. Like, that's just who they are. They'll have a good stretch of games, and then they'll have a bad stretch of games. Then like, it's just constantly, all the time, up and down and up and down and up and down.
Almost like a roller coaster.
Real quick, Brent, the national anthem is being sung right now at the Home Run Derby. I'm reading on social media, this could be potentially one of the worst national anthems ever. I need you to rewind this And we need to play this on the air because it is getting destroyed on social media right now.
I just turned it. It's bad.
Okay, so
we're talking possibly Fergie at the NBA All-Star game.
Who is singing the anthem?
She is Ingrid Andress. She is a 4-time Grammy nominee.
But not winner.
No, not winner. Basically, I guess auto-tune is
Can we, Brent, do we have this? All right, so this is the Home Run Derby in Arlington.
Oh, no.
Which is about to get underway.
Oh, no.
Apparently, this rendition of our national anthem is among the worst you have ever heard at a sporting event. Can we take a listen? Let's do it.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed by the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
The dogs in the Texas area are going nuts.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Love's never yet away.
What?
Yeah, that was worse than Fergie.
What?
That's really bad.
What the hell was that?
But here's the thing: it's the Derby. Thank the Lord that's not the game. I mean, you got to at least
Oh my
sample
God.
it. Like they just invited her. Did they hear her rendition before? That was not good.
And that was horrible.
Did something go wrong, or is that the way she planned to do it?
I've never heard her sing before, so maybe that's how she sings.
That's,
But if
that's
how
not
she
the
sings?
anthem, though.
No, I know.
Like it didn't follow like the
Alec Bohm was
chords or something.
losing it. Alec
Yeah,
Bohm was like,
dude.
"Oh my gosh, dude, that was
awful.
so bad,
That was terrible.
dude."
That's why I would
Poor
never
girl.
want to do the anthem, because it's like kicking field goals. If it goes great, nobody cares. And if it goes poorly, it's on social media for forever. It's like if you missed a field goal in the Super Bowl, like your boy with the Niners, who missed the field goal, Michigan kicker, short
up.
kick.
Shut up.
What's his name?
Yeah, Jake Moody.
Yeah, like everyone talks about you for forever, but if you make a 55-yarder, no one cares. So why even agree to do it? For publicity? You're not selling albums off that.
She's gonna go viral.
She's going viral.
She's going viral.
No
baby.
publicity's bad.
Yeah,
Man.
everybody will know this anthem because of how bad it was. That's
Did it sound that bad there? Like, what was that?
I don't know.
Because you got to imagine this afternoon she like did it. She did like the test run.
The people that are in charge of this whole thing, like the test runs,
man.
like, oh God, this is going to be a disaster.
Maybe they could have just played like a version over the like an MP3 player.
Or maybe she could have recorded it and then obviously lip sync it, but it's still her, but with some auto tune and made it sound like better.
Well, the Derby's not gonna be worse than that.
No,
That's
no,
a very low
no,
bar.
That's as worse as you can get. Yeah.
Wow.
That's like the 6th wild card team in the National League.
No, that's the 30th best team in Major League Baseball. That was
that's
awful.
the Marlins.
Someone on the text line said the production staff was like, "Quick, shoot off the fireworks, all of them now."
They kind of did too.
Distraction, please.
All right, here's what we're going to do. Coming up next, we have a pair of tickets to see Niall Horan at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater July 30th. Ticketmaster.com for tickets and info. Again, your chance to win is coming up in the next 10 or 15 minutes. We'll hear from Manny Machado again from the Padres in the clubhouse yesterday after a series loss to the Braves. capping off a 2-6 homestand, a 1-6 finish, though, to the first half for the Padres. We have Jim's back page coming up as well. We'll keep you updated on the home run derby. It will be better than the national anthem that you just heard. But on the other side, we'll hear from Manny Machado. We'll give away those tickets as well. Niall Horan, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, July 30th. We'll give away those tickets on the other side. Hear from Manny Machado as well. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, we'll give away these Niall Horan tickets on the other side. North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, July 30th. Plus, we'll hear from Manny Machado after the Padres limp into the All-Star break next.
This update's brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Padres finish up the first half, losing 6 of their final 7 games. They're 50-49 on the year. They are now at the All-Star break. Next up, a daunting 9-game road trip through Cleveland, Washington, and Baltimore starting Friday night in Cleveland. Tonight is the Home Run Derby. It's just underway in Texas. And tomorrow is the All-Star game where Jurickson Profar will be the starter for the National League in left field. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com. That's progressive.com.
Listen, we'll give away these Nile Horn tickets coming up momentarily. Before we get back to the Padres and the Derby, shout out to Sean Lewis, who was with us last week from the Circuit in Las Vegas for his first surf lesson today. Went to the beach this morning and took his first ever surf lesson. Pretty cool. Nice. So, Sean Lewis, before fall camp, get ready for, I don't know, Summer Olympics. They have surfing in the Summer Olympics? I think they do.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, don't they?
Is Sean Lewis going to be in the Summer Olympics for surfing?
Stay tuned. Potentially.
He's on his way.
If he's ready to become one of the world's best in the next 2 weeks.
Today was the first step.
Kind of cool, though. Things you can't do in a lot of places, but can do here.
I saw something online, and I'm not taking credit for it, but I forget where I saw it.
Just preface everything you've ever said with that.
No.
I don't, because you don't have any original thought.
Yes, I do.
Let's just start every show. You know how they say, like, portions of the show are pre-recorded.
I have original thoughts. There's a lot of people have the same thoughts.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, the Olympics needs to be not like the best athletes in the world. They need to just go to like all random countries and pick out like regular average people to compete in the Olympics. And then we'll actually really find out which nation has the best like overall. You think it's the dumbest idea ever.
Like, here's a good example.
But it wasn't
Jim.
my idea.
Here's
I told you that from the start.
Example.
I told you that from the start. It
Here's
wasn't
the
my
example.
idea.
Jim tells us, hey, I'm seeing on social media everyone's saying the national anthem is terrible, right? Before Jim has even heard the anthem, he posts a photo of Phil Thompson with the blood going down his ear.
As we were listening.
No, I saw you post this before we were playing it.
No. It was as we were listening.
I'll go back in real time. Well, either way, 7 people are commenting on it, and then the 7th person.
Okay, so
that's your style, is it not?
What?
Do what everyone else is saying.
But isn't that everybody though? So okay. So
I'm the only person. I just say this about you.
I'm the only person
you're not.
goes on social media to talk about things when things are happening.
No, but you basically whatever is going on in the storm, you're always going to tweet about.
Okay, that's everybody.
No, it's not.
That's a lot of people.
I guess so.
So you're going to have to generalize all of the people that tweet about things in the quote unquote storm.
I mean, am I telling a lie?
No, but that's the point of like social media.
Wait, are you telling me you tweeted this photo?
When did I tweet this?
Yeah, I'm right, aren't I?
I tweeted at 5:17.
And we played it at 5:17.
I don't think we did.
I don't even care.
Yeah,
who
cares?
I don't.
It's my social media.
It is. You can do whatever you want.
Right. And to say that I'm the only person in the world that decides to tweet when things are happening is a complete, utter lie.
It's not that I'm not saying that.
Yes, you are. You're like, oh, look at Jim.
I'm just saying
everybody's tweeting about it. So Jim's tweeting about it.
Point about original thought.
But like, here's the thing. If I could find the most original provoking person out there, guess what they'd probably be tweeting about if they watched the All-Star game right now? This exact thing.
I can't do it.
So like, what's the point? Like, am I supposed to be like,
you're so mad about
no,
this.
You're just like putting me in a position of like,
I don't even
all
care.
You do is tweet when things are happening because other people are tweeting about it. I'm like, yeah, no S, dude. Of course I am because I'm watching it happen.
Oh no, it's so stupid.
It's like, what do you want me to do?
No thoughts.
I'm not gonna tweet anymore.
Let me just see your last like 20 tweets. All right, while I do that, can we hear from Manny Machado? This was yesterday at the club.
I thought you muted me.
I blocked you at one point, but I had to unblock you because you got mad.
Yes. Oh no, I tweeted about Skip Bayless. I guess I'm not. I don't have an original thought in my mind. Like what?
Here's a good example. Can I give you one example and then we'll move on with Manny Machado?
Sure. What is your example?
Oh my gosh. This is amazing. This is amazing. My example is this is just a very Jim tweet. I have very John tweets. I'm just stating.
Oh no, I tweeted about San Diego State football video game.
Really good homestead for the hashtag Padres. Glad they didn't give away that 12-3 stretch they just had. That would have been rough. Oh, wait. That doesn't really prove my point. Anyway, here's Manny Machado from yesterday as the Padres limp into the All-Star break on a 1-6 stretch.
I think we're in a good position. You know, we put ourselves in a great position to go out there and compete the second half and leave it all out there.
How important will these 2 days be? Guys like yourself, Luis, rest up, knowing what you're going through, and for that second half push.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the break is always great. You know, you take a couple of days off, kind of hit the refresh button, and you know, come back, you know, ready for the second half. So I know a lot of people in here, especially our team. I mean, all around the league, everyone's banged up, you know. But for ourselves to kind of, you know, kind of regroup, kind of hit that reset button, it's going to kind of feel good for us, and you know, just kind of get our mindset ready for that second half.
Does it feel like you guys have played more games than anybody else?
I mean, not really. I mean, I think at this point, it just is what it is. You know, it's a lot of baseball, and you know, we're just glad we made it to the second half, to the first half. You know, healthy and good. You know, a couple injuries here and there, but you know, overall, you know, we played some really good baseball in that first half. You know, there's a lot to learn from it, and obviously grow. So you know, we're going to continue that in the second half, and you know, put ourselves in a better position.
A lot of really good baseball, also like some rough patches, losing streaks in this last 6 or 7. I know you face some good pitchers in this homestand, but how do you assess losing 6 of the last 7?
I mean, we're not even thinking about it. You know, I think you know, overall we had a good first half. You know, we played a lot of good baseball, and you know, we did a lot of great things. We did a lot of bad things as well, but we learned from those, and you know, we turned them around pretty quickly as a team. So you know, as a group, I think that's all we could ask for, is how we bounce back from those losses, how we bounce back from those errors or mental errors, and you know, move forward with how can we get better. And you know, this group has been great at it all year.
30 second sellout of the season today at Petco Park. How do you feel about how you guys have played at home and the support you received from fans?
I mean, just playing at home is awesome. You know, I mean, I think we've gotten a great support, you know, with our fans. They've come out here and, you know, given us the energy and given us everything that we needed to go out there and perform every single night. So it's been fun, and, you know, hopefully it continues, and, you know, we continue to play the baseball we've been playing, you know, for the second half. Just you know, gonna enjoy this break and kind of take that break off, and come back in the second half ready to play baseball and win some games. I think, you know, overall, I think this group wants to win. You know, we have our goal, which is to make it to the postseason and make it deep into the postseason and bring a championship to the city. And that's our goal, and we're going to continue to do that. So, you know, our focus in the second half is going to be that.
All right, so it's Manny Machado talking about the Padres.
Hey, everything's great. Everything's fine. 50-49 is okay. It's great, actually. Losing 6 of 7, who cares? You know what Mike Schilt did the other day? Which I'm like, you're completely contradicting yourself. And he does this all the time. Remember when he was asked a question about, I think it was on Tuesday versus the Mariners, or it might have been Wednesday after they got swept. And I think it was Kevin. He asked about the last couple games not performing offensively. Like, your offense the last couple games has been bad.
Yeah, one of them they were shut out. Yeah, okay.
And didn't he allude to, I'm not looking in the past? Why do we have to talk about the past?
No, you know what? Kind of, but he was referencing, who was that pitcher that Kevin referenced
Ryan
from Sunday?
Nelson?
Yes. Because Kevin's like, oh, Ryan Nelson wasn't good against you guys the last 2 years, but carved you up on Sunday. He's like, I'm not worried about the past. I think he was referencing the last 2 years.
No. He's referencing the last 4 games. That's how I viewed it.
I would need to hear it again.
Here's how I view it. I viewed it that he didn't want to talk about the losses, and the only time he wants to reference the past is when they win games. Because on Sunday, he damn sure hell had referenced Saturday's game a bunch.
Well, again, this goes back to the Machado expectation thing. Of course, you're going to reference previous games, of course you're going to be asked about expectations. Like, this is the job of the manager.
I know.
This is the job of the players. Like, is no media member going to ask you about your expectations?
And I know we're not the only people that see this and see right through it all the time with what they say and how their actions don't meet their words, and their words are like. From that standpoint, I do feel like that is a concerning thing to have as a team, where you are constantly saying things that everybody is looking at themselves like, did he just really say that?
When you say everyone, are you talking about fans or media members, or are you talking about the clubhouse? Because
I don't generalize everybody.
It's not the clubhouse. He has the clubhouse's backing as we sit here today. We've heard players reference it recently. I'm not saying that's a guarantee for all year. But I also don't think what he tells the media always matches what he tells his team. I really don't.
But also, he does have people in that clubhouse that say things that are completely different than the message from the manager.
True.
And perfect example is Jerkson Profar.
Yep.
Who you heard Manny there. Everything's great. Everything's fine. Blah, blah, blah. Machado Schilt. We had a great first half. Blah, blah, blah. Like, and then you hear Profar completely tell you the truth as far as like, hey, this was not good.
Bad homestand.
We got to play better, and I do think it does matter when from the leaders of your team, and Jerkson Profar is a leader.
He's
of your
one
team,
of them,
but he's not going to overtake Manny Machado and his voice in there.
Well, no one will.
No one will ever. And Mike Schilt, you hear from him and Manny Machado, everything's great. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I agree. I'm with you. Listen, I can deal with it if they win.
Me too.
I can deal with all of it if they make their way in, and it's like an unfinished book. If they make their way in, we're going to deal with all this nonsense. If they don't, we're going to look back and be like, that was complete utter nonsense all year long about this team, and we'll figure it out over the next 2 months. All right, who wants a pair of free tickets to see Niall Horan at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater July 30th from One Direction? Ticketmaster.com for tickets and info. The number to call if you want it. Caller 5, these are yours. 877-767-4760. 2 free tickets to see Niall Horan, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, July 30th. 877-767-4760. Caller 5. Why are you They're yours. 877-767-4760. Updates on the home run derby on the other side. Plus Jim's back page. I hate you. All right, sports fans, listen up. We have found paradise, and it's Circa Las Vegas. We were there this past week, Mountain West Football Media Days. I mean, it's just spectacular. A sports lover's dream. It's got the largest sports book in Las Vegas. You need to see it. Stadium Swim, you also have to see. It's an incredible rooftop pool with massive outdoor video boards. You can watch all the games there. Every Padres game is on TV. It's open 365 days a year. Here's the other good news. Circa is a 21-plus venue. There's nothing to worry about other than sports. And speaking of which, the biggest pro football contests in Vegas are back. We're talking about Circa Survivor and Circa Million, now up to $16 million in guaranteed prizes. 2 ways to win and no rake. Circa Survivor contestants select one team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all with $10 million guaranteed. In Circa Million, make 5 picks against the spread each week for your share of $6 million guaranteed. In addition, there's quarterly and full season payouts. You can enter in Nevada, but you can play from anywhere, including right here in America's finest city. Visit circasports.com. That's circasports.com for details. So Jim got married. We'll get to Jim's right. So Jim gets married. We were there. There, I was there. Jim was there. I officiated this thing. Oh, yeah. So, as is customary, you get like photos. Some people have like a videographer. I didn't, but Jim did. So he gets like his first video back from. Is that the completed video?
It's a 10-minute video. Yeah, this is
not the whole thing.
But okay, hold on.
There's got to be an extended cut. You didn't buy the whole thing for 10 minutes.
They're not going to give him a 7-hour video, John.
Yeah,
you need 30 minutes.
Okay, 30-minute video would be insane because of the amount of work that she put in to clip everything together, make everything look good, music.
So that's it?
What do you mean that's it?
You told me, you said, I think yesterday or the day before to Darnay and me that you're getting another video. No? I thought you said that.
I'm getting more pictures.
Okay, not more video. So we paid for the 10-minute video?
We have the
Do we get any vertical video shorts?
No, but we got a 10-minute video, and we're also getting all the raw footage of like the vows and all the speeches, and you at the altar.
So here's the issue I have with the 10-minute video, and I watched the entire thing on Instagram.
That it's 10 minutes.
No, was it a little drawn out for sure, but I watched the whole thing.
I wanted more.
I was only in there for like 3 seconds. I officiated the wedding, and all I heard from me was like, "You may now kiss the bride" or something.
Well, here's the thing, John. It was
your wedding. But I was like intentionally cut out of this thing.
No, you weren't. You were in there, but they're not gonna like. She wasn't gonna like
own section or something.
Yeah, she's like, hey, let me highlight John Schaefer in this the Jim and Aaron's wedding video. Did Kristen watch it?
I don't know, to be honest, because when I watched it, it was at night. Maybe.
Oh,
I think Kristen was in bed. Seriously, I'm not sure. I haven't asked.
Well, I liked it. I thought it was really good.
It's very well done. Seriously.
Yeah.
It's wonderfully
She did
done.
amazing. I couldn't have done that.
I was just hoping for a little more of me.
Well, you'll get a lot more you when we get the
extended cut,
the vows at the altar, and you up there.
It's going to be like
stuff.
Blade Runner. We're going to have 87 different directors' cuts of it.
That's fine. If you want to see more of it, at Jim Russell SD on Instagram. If you don't want to see more of it, at Jon Schaefer on Instagram. Let's get to this.
So the Nationals, John, are doing this really cool deal based off of CJ Abrams.
Okay.
The Nationals are offering we're talking about beer prices today. Listen to this. The Nationals are offering 25-ounce beers for $5. Oh, sorry, we talked about hot dogs, my bad. 25-ounce beers for $5 as part of new ticket promos, leapfrogging them into the, quote, cheapest beers in the majors title.
Is that a good idea?
The $5 beers are unlimited for the rest of the season for the thing. So the Nationals will offer 25-ounce beers for $5 in limited time promotion. For the second half of the season, team offers $5 beer promotions where anybody who buys seats to any game for the rest of the season has the right to get, quote, unlimited beers at that price. The beers are 25 ounces, making the 20 cents per ounce price the lowest in baseball.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Here's the catch. Fans have to buy the $5 for 25-ounce beer tickets by Thursday when the promotion expires. For those who get in on it, the $5 beers will be connected to the barcode on their ticket, although the beer will be available until the 8th inning, and the price is guaranteed to stay at $5. A fan can only buy 2 at a time.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Sure.
What's it have to do with CJ Abrams?
Well, because he wears number 5.
Right. So why 25 ounces?
Or does he wear number 5? Or 25?
He wears number 5.
Okay. Well, it's like they're just cheers to CJ Abrams for making the All-Star team.
So get drunk?
The only eligible beers are cans of Budweiser, Bud Light, and Michelob Ultra.
Well, see, they're making up for it because at the beginning of the year they had the most expensive beer prices in the league.
Wow!
At what's this article? It was from March 12th. As of March 12th, the Nationals were charging $14.99 for a beer. It was the most expensive beer price in the entire league.
Interesting. So that is a deal. Okay,
yeah.
I mean, it's a great deal.
I'm surprised that you did not send me anything this morning about this, John.
EA Sports, college football
No,
25.
no, even better.
Better than that? Pandas?
Pandas,
What's
bro.
the date?
Cheapest beer, $3, Coors Field. I'm done.
San Diego Zoo today shared the first look at the new pandas in their new
3
habitat.
days ago, dude. Come on. What's the date on that?
John's
That is
got
not
the
July
live,
15th.
John's
I've been
got the
looking for
live
those guys.
stream panda cam going at his house.
What's the date? Yeah, exactly. It's not July. It's like July 11th. I've been looking at these pandas for days.
Over the weekend.
I thought you were going to get me a date that they're going to debut.
No, they said they are still working on some things. The pandas won't be viewable to the public for several weeks, the zoo said.
I mean, can I, like, with all due respect to the pandas, like, what are they doing? Eating bamboo? Like, they're fine if people look at them. Right?
Even though there's only 2 pandas right now, the zoo said that their exhibit does have the capacity for at least 4 pandas.
4 pandas?
Yes.
So, real panda realignment or expansion?
The first panda, Yoon, is described as a mild-mannered, gentle, and lovable panda. He is the son of Zen Zen, who was born in the San Diego Zoo in 2007.
Tell me something I don't know.
To parents Bai Yoon and Gao Gao. The first character of his name, Yoon, is a nod to his grandmother, Bai Yoon, who lived at the San Diego Zoo for 23 years. Zin Bao is described as a gentle and witty introvert with a sweet round face and big ears.
Well, of course, they're not
Right,
going to
the
come out and be
serial
like,
killer.
Yeah, they're not going to be like, oh, Jen Jung is a violent, hot-tempered bear that if you look at her funny, she'll kill you.
He's going to go crazy.
Psycho panda.
Psycho panda.
No, I'm sure they're very sweet. Have you ever watched panda videos on Instagram like I have? They're always very kind.
I thought you were going to say, have you ever met a panda before?
I mean, every video I've ever seen of these dudes, they're just sitting around like rolling down hills and eating bamboo, and they look very fun. Now, how they survive in the wild is beyond me, because they're just like these fluffy bears. What's their instinct? Like, how do they avoid predators?
Well, they don't. That's why they're like very rare and like almost extinct.
Do they have predators other than humans back in the day?
But they're so cuddly.
I know.
They're just so cute. I'm sure you love this, John. Hello Kitty. The cafe truck is making 2 Southern California stops this month. July 20th.
Why would I love that?
In Temecula.
What do I have to do with Hello Kitty?
I don't know. The Hello Kitty cafe truck will stop in Temecula this
Hello
month.
Kitty and pandas go together.
They're celebrating the 50th anniversary. The cafe truck is launching a 3rd truck called the Cali truck that's just makes stops all up and down California. You can go there on July 20th in Temecula, the Red Robin from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. You get prizes, you can get Hello Kitty merch, you can get coffee. So go check that out if you're into Hello Kitty.
Great for our listeners. All right. If you missed anything today, sportssd.com, iHeartRadio app.
Right.
They met up kids. So
yeah.
iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. You can find us on social at Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM. We're back tomorrow at 3 p.m. For Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here at San Diego Sports 760.